design and build the roof for new construction to maintenance, repair, and replacements, we've got the experience that you can count on. At RoofWorks, we don't want to be the biggest. We just want to be the best. Visit us at roofworks.com. That's roof, WERKS.com.
At the V Foundation, V is for victory over cancer. V is for victory over giving up.
Don't give up. Don't ever give up.
Join our team in the fight against cancer at V.org.
This hour of the Triangle Sports Leader is powered by Ritchie Law Firm, Injury Lawyers. Ritchie Law is on top of it. Go to ritchielaw.com.
That's ritchielaw.com. WCMC-FM HD1 Holly Springs.
The most important part is just to see our play style show up, and we played a physical style of football. We were able to run the ball. Bryce was extending plays, finding guys down the field. Kenny got in there, moved the ball, found some nice throws in some critical situations. Defensively speaking, put pressure on the quarterbacks, and they found some success. You know, this is a really good staff with great scheme, the Jacksonville Jags. It's great to have back-to-back-to-back road games. We're getting really comfortable with this process. I talk about it. I say these are championship opportunities. They really are, and we have to be able to travel well, show up, and play a full game of football, and that's what our guys did.
It's the Adam Gold Show. Hi, everyone. I'm Adam Gold. Victoria is here. I'm back. Yesterday was the best of, and I thank Rusty for slapping that together. And hopefully today will be the start of another best of, although we're live.
Yes, in the flesh.
Yes. I've worked out a scam, Victoria, to delay a birthday I don't want.
Okay.
Until all of the members of my immediate family are prepared, and I am encouraging them to not be prepared, I'm not counting it.
Okay. Yeah. If
Just
you don't
extending
acknowledge
the time.
Right. Yeah.
Extending the time.
Yep. If you didn't acknowledge it, did it really happen?
Exactly.
It's like if you didn't hear the tree fall in the forest, did it really fall?
There you go.
Yeah.
There you go.
I see the logic.
Mm-hmm.
I see it.
My gosh, it was glorious this morning when we woke. It was 61 degrees.
I know.
Please, in my veins, I want it.
I love it. I don't love it for summer pool time anymore because
No offense. It's going to be plenty hot later.
No, but see,
No,
people who know if you own a pool, then you realize these 60-degree nights and mornings murder your temperature, water temperature.
I have thoughts on this.
Yeah.
For the life of me, I do not understand heated pools.
Yeah, no.
We have bathtubs for that.
Exactly. Or a jacuzzi.
Right. I want a cold. If I am sitting by a pool and it's hot out, I want the water to be cold.
Should be. Well, it definitely will be these days.
Good.
I'm telling you.
I don't want it to be warm.
I don't know if people realize we were just talking about that actually in the studios. Me and a few people were talking about how you learn what your temperatures are. Yeah. And it's not quite as low as you think you could go.
I don't like a heated pool.
Yeah, no. Well,
if it's cold, it's cold. If it's too cold, I'll get out.
Yep. And probably give it like 3 more weeks. Once we consistently get like 60-degree weather, it'll feel like you're swimming in a milkshake.
Yeah, I haven't. God, we're members at the Y.
Yeah.
And I can't remember the last time that I was at the outdoor pool.
Yeah. I haven't been to an outdoor pool since I worked at one.
Since I was like,
it's been a minute.
Entertaining when Jack was still in middle school.
Yeah.
Or maybe even before then.
Yeah.
It's been a minute. Anyway, I'm back, and today is the run-up.
Yeah.
We are finally into it.
I know.
And we should start.
Let's get it started. Let's get it started in here.
We don't often give ESPN credit, but I'm going to give ESPN credit on their college football page, if you go to scores, they refer to Saturday's games as part of week 1. There's still a lot of people referring to it as week 0.
Right.
And I get it, because week 1 theoretically is next week. Because it encompasses the Labor Day weekend. Because starting on Thursday, we'll have games every day. Thursday, Friday, Saturday, Sunday, Monday. It's like 5 straight days of college football. And it's an extravaganza. It's a jamboree. It's a festival. That's fine. All of that is good. But I like the fact that, at least at ESPN's site, and I haven't been to all the others to compare, they are referring to Carolina's trip to Dublin, State's trip to Charlottesville, and other matches, other games that are on this weekend. They are still putting them into week 1. I'm going to call it week 01.
There you go.
Yeah, we can.
Sounds like a new soda.
Yeah.
01.
So, I real quick, I was at Fresca. Still a thing?
Is it? Maybe?
I was in my mother-in-law's house. She had a cable issue. So I went and met the Spectrum guy yesterday.
Yeah.
And I was thirsty, and I go into their refrigerator. They're away for 5 months.
Yeah.
So I go into the refrigerator. There's Cheerwine, which I've still never had.
Oh.
Yeah, I know.
Unfortunate.
It's
Especially if it's right there.
There's a Fresca.
Wow.
Wait, Fresca's still a thing?
I know. I don't know if there's a date on
I
it.
had a Caddyshack. Flashback. How about a Fresca?
Yeah.
The world needs ditch diggers too. Anyway, I did not know Fresca was still a thing.
Yeah, I didn't either.
So welcome to week 01 for those college football fans celebrating. Carolina is going to Dublin to play TCU. It's the second of the home and home. That game was, of course, last year in Chapel Hill, and this year's game is in Dublin, Ireland. It is the first college football game of the season, and I was in some ways surprised that North Carolina is only a 7.5-point underdog. Not sure that matters. Look, as I said this morning when I went on with the fellas in Charlotte, I really have no idea what to expect. I mean, my expectations for UNC this year are incredibly low.
Yeah, I think they should be.
Yeah,
but we don't know.
Yeah, that's the thing. And I know this sounds like a hedge, but it's not. I look at Carolina's schedule, and I'm like, oh, even if they're improved, I still look at it and go, that looks like 2-10 to me. Mm-hmm. And I hope I'm wrong. I hope I'm way low on their ability to win games. I hope they win. I hope they win enough games to go to a bowl game.
Yeah, it'd be more exciting to talk about them if they did.
Well, there's a different conversation to be had about that.
Yeah.
Look, I'm not forecasting anything. I would prefer North Carolina to be good. But in terms of level of interest, I would have to say that the worse they are, the higher the level of interest, maybe not among UNC fans, although to an extent, yes. But the higher level of interest we will have from everybody, because it is the accident on the side of the road. Everybody turns and looks. Everybody's interested in what's happening. I've said this before. I push back on the best case scenario for UNC, because I know that there are people out there that think the best case scenario is disaster season, move on, blah, blah, blah. I do not believe that to be the case, because to me, financially, that sets you back years, because they're not just going to move on. I mean, it's going to cost them $20 million almost. Maybe it could be more, to be honest. Let's just say roughly $20 million. It will cost them to move on from Bill Belichick after this season. And moving on from Bill Belichick, hiring the next staff, and funding the next roster, that's probably a little too much for North Carolina to deal with. So what I'm saying is that best case scenario for UNC is that this year is not a total debacle, that next year They might even show a little bit more progress. And then after 3 years, which is all I thought this would ever be, after 3 years, then Bill and his $10 million annual contract and Michael Lombardi, whatever his name is, who can move on to whatever's next, fooling somebody else in his football career. And that may happen, by the way, during this season. He might be out this year. And they can move on without Carolina having to financially rebuild a football program. I think that's best case scenario. Either way, the earliest I think they're going to be good is probably 3 years from now. This year, next year, 3 seasons from now. To me, if you're so bad that you tear it down and you get rid of Bill Belichick, I think you are delaying that by at least 1 year, and who knows, maybe more. By that point, who knows what the whole thing's going to look like. Anyway, I think best case scenario is that they don't look like a complete dumpster fire, even if the record might show that. I just want them to be competitive. We'll see what happens. And I have no clue what's going to happen in Dublin. NC State is headed to Virginia. Here's the thing. I'm a little surprised that the Wolfpack are almost a touchdown underdog. 5.5 points right now is the line in that game. I think if you took State on the money line, it's like plus 170, maybe plus 180. Carolina's like at plus 310 or something like that, or maybe it's not quite. No, it's plus 250. I'm really excited to watch State this year, but I will tell you this. I also don't know. I'm excited to watch them because I know C.J. Bailey's good. I know Duke Scott's good. Everything else about that football team, I ain't sure. But that's just the way I approach the college football season. I have no clue what is going to happen. There just aren't enough returning star-level players. I hope the offensive and defensive lines hold up. If that's the case, I think State will be good. But their season begins at like 3:30 on Saturday in Charlottesville, which this was the game that was supposed to be played in Brazil, but the promoter decided, you know what, we don't want to do that. Walker Eggett is Duke's starting quarterback. Tomorrow on the show, we will talk with Manny Diaz. He will be with us, I think, at 1 o'clock tomorrow. I know you'll hear a soundbite from Manny Diaz regarding an NCAA issue in just a little bit. 2 other ACC teams are in action this week. Florida State will host New Mexico State, and Stanford will be at home to take on Hawaii. All right, now we're going to get to that NCAA issue here. The Big Ten has announced that no players will be allowed to return from the NFL and play in their league. They haven't. Yeah, I think the vote is today, but they expect that vote to be unanimous, right? And they announced it yesterday. And here's the wording from the statement. Any player who has declared for the NFL draft and did not withdraw, appeared on an NFL roster, or signed a contract with a pro league, there's only one of those, cannot be on a Big Ten roster. All right. For those people who have not paid close enough attention, and I'm not blaming anybody if they don't, because these types of things can make your head hurt. Frankly, there's too many lawsuits out there. The NCAA in the spring announced a new rule going forward that players would get 5 years active eligibility, but those would be concentrated in a 5-year span. You don't get 6 years to play 5, you get 5 years to play 5. The old rules, if we could just go back in time, the old rules used to be you get 5 years of eligibility, of which you could play 4, which would allow you a red shirt, and then to play 4 years actively in that 5-year span. It also was sort of relaxed over time to where you could play what amounted to a quarter of your season and then declared that you were a redshirt, which would be great. You could play the first 3 games of a college football season, right? And then declare it was actually 30%, not even 25. You play 3 games of a college football season and then say, I'm redshirting, and boom, you'd have 4 more years of eligibility. It's actually fairly cool. It certainly protected players in case of injury and things like that. Well, we started getting, with COVID and all sorts of other things, we started getting too many situations. Like there was a player who played he didn't play 8 years, but he was eligible in college 8 different years. And I think he only played 5, maybe 6, to be honest. I have no... It just became so confusing, and players were getting waivers and whatnot, which, again, I'm not anti-player in any possible way. So just so people know where I'm coming from, and I think if you listen to this program enough, you know what I'm about. So when the NCAA instituted this rule, it just made it seem so simple. We have it's not an age limit, but it's an age component. Whereas you'd get 5 years in a row to be eligible, and your clock would begin the year your high school class graduates, or until 25. Actually, I think it's 24. You could start the season in your age 24 year, but if you turn 25, that would be okay. And that would be the cutoff, whichever is earlier. And that, I'm cool with that, right? We don't need 29-year-old college athletes. It just seems silly. But because the NCAA, let me just roll this back a second. So the NCAA puts that 5 years to play 5 into place, and it was a great rule. It's rare when most people go, hey, the NCAA, you did it good. But they put at the end of it, it does not include the incoming class of 2022. And I said at the time, I'm like, this is a great rule, but that part of it is going to get beat in court because there will be players who will want to come back to school, who will want to remain in school. And I used Seth Trimble as an example. And by the way, because there are so many different lawsuits, the lawsuit that allowed Seth Trimble back to school, where he ended up going to Louisville, that has been kind of blocked. So we're sitting here today, unless something has changed, he's not eligible today. I think by the time school starts, I believe he will be eligible, but he is not eligible as of today. Regardless, we'll get to that another time. So I said at that point that it will be challenged in court. I think they will lose in court. It seems arbitrary that they just decided this year it would not count. So the incoming class of 2022, which if you're a football player, you play in 22 through 25. We're now in 26. You would have no eligibility remaining. So all of those players who were in the incoming class of 22, who had no clue whether or not they would be eligible, move on to the next part of their lives. So many of them, if 5-5 was available to them, so many of them, if not all of them, would have chosen to come back to school and play another year. That, of course, is, according to the NCAA, not allowable. Except the court said, yeah, it is. And now, 2 of those players have been recruited. We'll get to that in a second. So I read you the big part of the Big Ten's statement. The ACC will, according to Jim Phillips today, talk about the same rule as the Big Ten is about to implement. Here is Manny Diaz, who was asked if he agrees with what the Big Ten wants to do.
I think you'll see more leagues start to govern themselves since we're having such a hard time finding it at a national level. I think everyone understands it's absolutely absurd. We can enjoy the fact that the players can benefit financially from playing in college now. At the same time, recognize the ultimate truth that we're not a professional sports franchise. We are a collegiate, scholastic school activity, and we've got to rein that in. And it's just I think that's just one small symptom of a greater problem where we are being legislated by individual judges. And you can find anybody in a courtroom anywhere to make whatever rule that benefits, whatever team that in whatever state, gets them elected. So it's bad. It's bad policy. You wouldn't run any other type of corporation, organization, anything else the way we're being run right now. And so I hope the leagues do step up, because somebody has to right now, because when there's a vacuum, this is what you see.
All right, we're going to get to some of those issues. I will, and we'll talk to Manny Diaz about this tomorrow. I will disagree in that college football is pro sports. It is. They've been making billions of dollars, distributing billions of dollars over the last several years. It is just recent where the players are getting paid. The players get paid a fraction. Some get pretty good deals, by the way, but by and large, the players get paid a fraction of what the NFL divvies up. And let's give Manny the benefit of the doubt that at Duke, football is a scholastic activity. I don't think it's the case at Miami. I'm not saying that school does not matter, but I don't think that's the case at Miami or Ohio State or Alabama or Georgia or Oklahoma or Texas. I'm sorry. I can't. I just can't get on board with that. Now, he does go on to say we are not being governed well. I'm paraphrasing that. And that is true. Boy, this could have been avoided. Let me take you back to the time the NCAA made 5-5. All we got to do is say this. This is our rule. Starting with next year, they could have waited to implement it. Starting with next year, you will get 5 years to play 5 years. That's it. But nope. They decided they were going to cut off the handful of players that this ultimately governs. And unfortunately, they ended up in court over it. And you know the NCAA's record in courts. It's not been good. It has not been good. They have won a few eligibility cases. It does make sense that if you were a legitimate pro, even if you weren't an NBA player or an NFL player, and there is no other pro league, but if you are a legitimate pro, then of course you shouldn't go back and play in college. That should be pretty, easily understood. Okay? We're talking about the National Football League and the NBA here. We're not really talking about other sports. If you're a legitimate pro, you shouldn't go back to play in college. However, this is where this whole thing has been bastardized. Daquan, whatever his name is, Walker. There are two players right now that have committed to play at LSU. Shock. Two players, right? To call them NFL players is just being intellectually dishonest. Because they're not NFL players. They have practiced with NFL teams. They are not on an NFL roster. Nobody is on an NFL roster right now except for the players who are established veterans because they haven't determined rosters yet. So you don't get paid for NFL training camps. You get reimbursed, compensated. There's a training camp stipend and things like that. But you're not You're not drawing an NFL salary. You haven't been signed to a contract. Look, if an undrafted free agent signs a legitimate NFL contract, which you can do, well, then this would supersede that. But they haven't. So if they decide, all right, release me so I can go back and play in college, I have zero problem with that. And nobody should have a problem with that because in many cases, these players have been essentially pushed out the door when they really shouldn't have. By the way, the SEC released a statement yesterday. We're not going to get to half the stuff I wanted to get to before the first break. The SEC released a statement yesterday. Athletes who choose to leave college athletics and sign professional contracts should not then be permitted to return to college competition. Should. The SEC statement is like, we don't really want this, even though we know LSU is going to try it. So we're going to say should. Here's what will be interesting. Will the SEC pass a rule that they can do on their own that says they can't play for an SEC school? Remember, the pushback in whatever the name of the quarterback that was going to play at Texas Tech, Brendan Sorsby, the pushback there was from the league. The league was very anti-Sorsby playing at Texas Tech. It wasn't an eligibility issue. It was there are rules against players playing who have been found to have gambled on their team. He broke an NCAA rule. It wasn't an eligibility issue. I mean, technically, I guess it was, but we're not talking about the same type of deal. And Texas Tech wanted him to play, and the rest of their league said no. And that became a problem. And so Texas Tech declared him, all right, he's not playing. So, but this is not that. I will be curious to see what happens here because I think that when this goes to court again, because it will go to court if the SEC tries to ban it, and if Ryan Day at Ohio State wants to recruit somebody who's in the same position, I will be curious what will happen if a court says you can't ban these players. Maybe the leagues will, and that's fair. They have the right to do that. They have the right as a league to say they will not play in our conference. If you do that, I respect that. Absolutely respect it. I get the optics of it all. But I can't wait to see it happen. I can't wait to see the SEC tell LSU they can't have these two players. Or any other players that come. I cannot wait for that. Meanwhile, LSU's basketball team, without adding a couple of players who fit this bill, had 4 players on their roster.
Yeah.
I could be wrong. I think you need 5.
I love the shade being thrown in the YouTube chat, which is a reminder, people can join us in the YouTube chat if you'd like to because we're streaming there. But Stormy said the NCAA should allow them a 6th season because 5 is Jaden Daniels' number. It's perfect.
Very nice.
It's perfect.
Out of respect.
Yes.
Out of respect for Jaden Daniels, we're going to 6 years. All right, Wilt Brinson will join us when we come back. The Panthers heading to their Friday preseason finale. We'll talk about that and more next.
Questioning goalie interference calls since day one. The Adam Gold Show on the North Carolina Sports Network.
The NFL kicks off September 9th.
There goes Tommy down the right sideline across midfield. Tommy Tremble with the thunder. Touchdown! Touchdown! Chicago has caught a touchdown pass.
On 99.9 The Fan, the Triangle Sports Leader.
Bryce Magic is real, and Coker has played the game of his life.
Presented by Fairway Green and Wake Med.
Gotta love it.
Time to utilize a pretty day and get some fresh air the fun way. I'm Victoria Vodnecker here for Law Tigers, and if you're a rider, then you know there is nothing like gearing up, winding down, and grabbing some recharge time on 2 wheels. And whether you're a seasoned vet or just starting out, you know one of the most important things is to stay focused and pay attention. Ride like no one sees you. And this is because people in vehicles aren't always paying attention and don't always see you. So the risk of an accident is unfortunately there. But Law Tigers Tigers will always see you. They're riders too, so they know what it feels like to be in an accident on a motorcycle. They've helped thousands of riders over 25 years. So not only do they know the value of your bike gear and the investment that you've put into it, but they understand this community. So at Law Tigers, your case evaluations are always free and they won't get paid until your case settles. Call 1-800-LAW-TIGERS, North Carolina's motorcycle lawyers. Law Tigers is a network of independent law firms who are members of the American Association of Motorcycle Injury Lawyers. Law Tigers is not a law firm.
This is what WRAL weather coverage sounds like.
Thunderstorm warning right now in the WRAL Severe Weather Center.
When your safety is a priority.
An indication that there's a tornado on the ground, so get in your safe spot
in this area, get in your safe spot right now.
With the tools that make a difference.
WRAL Storm Tracker is inside the storm.
WRAL has the only dual Doppler radar in Wade County.
Hear it and see it every day.
It looks like the storm is doing exactly what we predicted to do.
That's WRAL News. Weather coverage you can count on.
This is Gordon Miller from Miller Lending, the original home of the no-cost loan. With mortgage rates near their highest levels in almost 25 years, paying upwards of $15,000 to $20,000 at closing makes little sense, and Miller Lending wants to help. Now in our 40th year, our popular no-closing cost program lets you simply close on today's rates, free of all mortgage-related costs, and refinance as rates fall. So why not pick up the phone for your no-cost quote today? 919-447-3377, or simply apply online at millerlending.com. Miller Lending is an equal housing lender, NMLS number 2502146.
Carolina football tickets are on sale now. The 2026 schedule is loaded with great games against Notre Dame, Syracuse, Miami, Louisville, NC State, and the home opener against East Tennessee State on September 12th. Experience Chapel Hill on game days, including the Chapel Thrill Concert Series. This year's pregame performers include Chase Rice, Neon Trees, Waka Flocka, and Shaquille O'Neal. Don't miss out on the 100th season of Carolina football in Kenan Stadium. To order your 2026 Carolina football tickets now, visit GoHeels.com.
McDonald's is putting value back on the menu. Whether you're craving a Big Mac, McNuggets, or sausage, egg, and cheese McGriddles, make it a meal and save. Your favorite is now your wallet's favorite too. Extra value meals are back.
Now, save on what you crave. Get a 10-piece chicken McNuggets, medium fries, and medium Coke for just $8. That's one unbeatable deal. Limited time only. Prices and participation may vary.
Try Angel Soft for your tushy. It's made by angels. Soft and strong, budget friendly. The choice is simple. A roll that feels like paradise, and always at a heavenly price. Angel Soft, soft and strong, so it's simple.
Pick up a pack today.
Angel Soft.
Soft and strong, simple.
This is Adam Gold.
Steve Bettman take all that time to walk out, then to see the pick, bro hug no less than 20 guys on his way up there. And then this draft house, they just moved this wall like the Price is Right. I don't know.
It's a showcase showdown back there.
I know.
That would be great. So we should spin a wheel,
yeah,
right? Exactly.
The Adam Gold Show.
It's the Adam Gold Show. I'm Adam Gold. Victoria producing the program. I feel like we are in not regular season mode, but football season mode. This is the lead up to week 01 of college football. We are about 2 weeks away from the start of the National Football League. 2 weeks from today, we will be in game week 1. Remember, Wednesday is when we will begin with the Seahawks and Patriots, right, in Seattle. Then we have the Thursday game, which is actually being played Friday. It's too confusing. Down under. And Will Brinson, we are in game week mode, joins us on the Adam Gold Show, senior NFL writer, CBSSports.com, who sorts the Sunday pile. All right, I want to start with the Panthers, if we could, because I didn't get any I ran out of time before I brought them up. I think we saw that having Damian Lewis and Robert Hunt back mattered. They did not look incompetent when their first team was out there. So I think that a 3-and-out to, or at least a failed opening drive to start. But it looked a lot better once everybody kind of got on the same page.
Yeah, I mean, I think, for the Panthers, and I mean, this is true for like a lot of teams, but I think really for the Panthers this year, they are going to go as far as their success is going to be highly determinant on how healthy the starting offensive line can be.
Yep.
Right. And again, that applies to a lot of NFL teams. If your offensive line is devastated with injuries, you're probably not going to be very good. And just the nature of, how we kind of, sort of a 30,000-foot view, we like to focus on quarterbacks. We like to focus on receivers, running backs, fantasy football, all that. I mean, those guys matter. Quarterback matters more than any position in any sport to a massive degree. But quarterback play is dependent on other things too. And the number one thing that quarterback play is dependent on is offensive line. And I think with Bryce Young, you're talking about a quarterback who is in this group of guys, and it's a large group of guys in the NFL, quarterbacks, who are there are a couple guys, like a Josh Allen and Patrick Mahomes, and they can't overcome, the worst offensive line in football, but they can overcome, issues on the offensive line. Somebody like Bryce Young, and this is a large range. You can run the gamut, whether it's like a Kirk Cousins type of player, Jared Goff, Bryce Young, et cetera, where if the offensive line isn't healthy and isn't performing at a high level, isn't protecting him, things can really go south with the offense. And I think, you kind of saw a stark example of that from, 2 weeks ago against Buffalo, and then, against Jacksonville this past week, where when those guys are out there, all of a sudden the offense can click a little bit better because you have that. That's just going to be the determining factor for the Panthers in 2026, in my opinion.
Yeah, and for Will Brinson is joining us here, and I think for Bryce Young, it's even more important that the center of his offensive line does not get caved in. I think you could always, I shouldn't say always, you can mitigate, weaknesses at tackle positions by providing assistance.
Shipping.
Tight end on the
right.
Tight end on that side. Quicker passes. But man, if the center of your offensive line, which is really what happened in preseason game number 2, when they went, I'll give them credit for the first down that they picked up that was called back due to penalty, but they only ran 10 offensive plays in 3 series. And the reason for that was because no Robert Hunt, no Damian Lewis. They were just completely caved in. Center position is still kind of a mess, but we'll see how they mitigate that. But you can't work without your 2 starting guards. I think their depth.
Well, you can go back to Tom Brady. In the big games that Tom Brady lost, it's because he got pressured up the middle.
Yeah.
More likely than not. And Peyton Manning, and you go to any great NFL quarterback, and if you get pressure up the middle, it is going to, it forces you off your spot, so you can't sit there and run an offense in the style that you want to run it. And then the other thing is pressure up the middle versus pressure on the edge. Pressure on the edge, you can also mitigate that by getting the ball out quickly. You can't get the ball out quickly when the interior of your offensive line is getting destroyed and you're forced to move off your spot. So it's it really is imperative. And for the Panthers too, this is a Dave Canales offense. They are going to want to run the ball a lot. That is what they are going to do. They're going to be a running team first and foremost, and you have to be able to run. You have to be able to maintain your blocks on the interior to be able to get those runs going. So it's this is kind of where the season is going to swing for Carolina.
Let me ask you one more thing about the Panthers. I'm going to talk a lot more extensively about this later, but just one more thing. Darren Waller was brought in really to be an impact pass-catching tight end, but by the time they settled everything, he was not part of the preseason game against Jacksonville. He was not part of the joint practices. He'll be, I'm guessing, tomorrow, part of the joint practice against Houston, but he's not going to play in the game on Friday. And what options do the Panthers have? Let's say he's not that effective. I guess they could certainly release him, but if he's not that effective because he's not ready, because he hasn't played a lot of football,
right?
Do they have roster moves they can make? Can they waive him because he doesn't have to clear waivers and just put him on their practice squad?
Good question. I don't know that they can move into the practice squad, I would assume that he is either going to be on the active roster. The thing with like a veteran like Waller, he's retired.
Right.
He's like, yeah, like I would think that he's either on the active roster or he's. Maybe they could do something like a PUP or IR if he's not ready to go. But I would think he's either on the active roster or they just end up cutting him outright, would be my guess.
Or do they put
it like he's not ready to go?
If they IR him, and I guess my guess is that they're going to do that with Haynes King and basically maybe IR him for the entire season and basically just stash him because he's got that hamstring issue. But I don't know. If he's not ready to go during the at the start of the season, like it would make more sense to keep around JT Sanders. But if he's ready to go,
right.
the way Dave Canales has talked about Felipe Franks as a special teams player, then they're going to keep Felipe Franks. They're going to keep Tremble and Mitch Evans. So, because they're blockers, and JT Sanders is certainly not, nor is Darren Waller, and I don't think Felipe Franks is much of a blocker either. That it would make more sense to keep around JT Sanders as a pass-catching element. I don't know what the deal is. Maybe they won't. Maybe they'll just go, Waller, might not be active in week one.
I'm not 100% sure on the practice squad eligibility for him, but you really don't ever hear about somebody coming out of retirement to then be on the practice squad. You know what I mean?
True. It's a good point.
I think that Waller would probably be like, nah, I'm good. I'm going to go back to being retired if I'm not getting that game check.
Well, he came out of retirement last year to play with Miami. He was planning on playing, so he was still an active player. And he was effective for Miami in about half a season. Will Brinson is with us. All right, sir. I know in week 3 the Panthers will play the Browns. Will Deshaun Watson still be the starting quarterback for Cleveland when the Panthers meet them in week 3?
That is a good question. I think that the Browns, the decision to name Deshaun Watson the starter came obviously under a lot of scrutiny for myriad reasons, including the fact that he, right before, 24 hours before that, he obliterated the fan base in a press conference in which he was, talking about how they were cheering when he got hurt the last time, they were yelling for him, and now they're out there booing him and all these things. It also comes with the decision to start him under the notion that the Browns are on the road for the first 2 weeks of the season. They play at Jacksonville and they play at Tampa. So, you're not going to have Deshaun at home getting booed by fans for the first 2 weeks of the season, which I think definitely was a factor with this. I think it's probably a coin flip on if he's still the starter, but they don't have – this is one of the worst quarterback situations in recent memory.
Ever.
You have Watson, who former Pro Bowler, obviously was great at Clemson, has just appears to have lost it, doesn't have the physical skills that he had before. He threw a ton of interceptions in training camp. Shedeur Sanders has been terrible too. And then Dylan Gabriel, who they drafted in the 3rd round last year, wasn't even in the competition. Nope. So, I think that Deshaun will probably still be the starter in week 3, but if he is absolutely dreadful against the Jaguars and against the Bucs and the Browns get blown out the first 2 weeks of the season, and Watson throws 3 picks each game, it's going to be a tough sell for Todd Monken to trot him out there against Carolina in week 3 in that home opener for them. Especially, you got Carolina and then Pittsburgh in back-to-back weeks. For any other team, if they still had Myles Garrett, if they had a quarterback that they was remote, if they still had Baker Mayfield, right? Just didn't do the Deshaun Watson thing. This is kind of a winnable stretch of games to start the year. They get the Jags, the Bucs, the Panthers, the Steelers, and the Jets. For a bad football team, those are winnable games. They're not, for an average football team, those are coin flip games. For the Browns, you feel like 0-4 is certainly on the table. So, I guess the answer is I don't know, and I think it wholly depends on how Deshaun plays the first 2 weeks. Because if he plays, if the Browns go 1-1 or 2-0, and he looks decent, and the defense is keeping him in the game, and they manage to steal both of those games or steal one of those games, then I think it's a much easier sell to the fan base. Whereas if he goes 0-2 and they just look awful on offense and he can't complete passes and he's throwing picks and it's a train wreck, I don't see how they can roll him out for the home opener.
Here's the thing about, there's a psychological conversation to have about Deshaun Watson and the emotional trauma, he can deny it all he wants, of what he put himself through by his own actions, right? And I'll bring up the fact that when Tiger Woods, when his off the course excursions, like at Denny's, was exposed, right? Was exposed to the world, like he was for a fair amount of time. He was not the same player.
He lost the on-course confidence,
no doubt,
when he was exposed as the person, as a different person than what people believed him to be off the course.
And that's what happened to Deshaun Watson, right?
Yeah, for sure.
The
injuries, and then the where he turns out he's the person that he is. I think it definitely changed him as a player. I think the Tiger Woods example is a great one.
So his performances when healthy have been horrific, and it's been for like 4 years now. Granted, a lot of his performance have been marred by injuries, but also when healthy, he's just been terrible. I would argue this.
I saw a stat. Tom Brady, who hasn't played football in 3 years, has 3 300-yard passing games since Deshaun Watson's last 300-yard passing game. I didn't double check it, but I think it tracks like on
sure.
I believe it.
So I would argue that Cleveland is tanking the season if they're starting with Deshaun Watson. But here's what I don't get, and we're going to have to close here, so we got like 60 seconds. There are a number of teams out there that who aren't going to be good no matter who starts at quarterback for them, who probably should roll with a young quarterback at the very least to see what they've got. Shedeur Sanders in Cleveland, Carson Beck in Arizona certainly come to mind. There's no reason to go with veteran quarterbacks in those two situations.
If I'm Cleveland, I'm trying out Shedeur Sanders, and by all accounts, he's been terrible in camp, and I think Todd Monken didn't want him. But I'm rolling out Shedeur Sanders, and I'm trying. And if he stinks, and we lose every game, and we get the first pick, and they're trying to find a quarterback.
Yeah, that to me is what you should do. Let's determine what this person is.
Yeah, exactly. You know what Deshaun Watson is. Last year they already said they were moving on from him, and then it was a failed experiment. So they're like, just kidding, he's a starter again.
It's unbelievable. It's the National Football League. It's great. All right, sir. Talk to you in 6 days.
Sounds good, man. See you next week.
Will Brinson, senior NFL writer, CBSSports.com. So many more things to get to. All right, one-timers coming up on the other side, questions and answers. You've got questions, you can go to the YouTube chat, put them in the box on the right-hand side, ask anything you like, and we will get to it next.
His Zamboni is bigger than yours. The Adam Gold Show on the North Carolina Sports Network.
Rechargeable batteries are in so many items we use every day, like our mobile phones, smartwatches, even electric toothbrushes. But did you know that devices with these batteries should not be thrown in the trash or recycling bins? They can cause fires in garbage trucks and recycling facilities. But it's easy to dispose of these devices correctly. Simply go to batterysafe.nc.gov to learn more and find your closest drop-off location. That's batterysafe.nc.gov. Remember, skip the bin, turn your batteries in.
Are you taking care of someone on Medicare? Navigating Medicare can be overwhelming. You're not alone. The NC Department of Insurance SHIP program can help you figure out what steps to take and when. SHIP counselors can answer your questions. Visit ncshiip.com or call toll-free at 855-408-1212. SHIP provides free, unbiased help in all 100 counties.
Project supported by grants from the Administration for Community Living. Contents do not necessarily represent official views of, nor an endorsement by ACL, HHS, or the
U.S. government.
As the health director in Haywood County and a nurse here in North Carolina, I can tell you that the 988 Suicide and Crisis Lifeline saves lives.
No matter your struggle, you are not alone. The 988 Suicide and Crisis Lifeline is free, private, and always available.
988 Lifeline counselors are ready 24/7 to speak with you, help you cope, and get you connected to the support that is right for you.
988, the National Suicide and Crisis Lifeline.
Call, text, or chat 988 24/7. Brought to you by the North Carolina Department of Health and Human Services.
Get hurt in the game? We tough it out. Feel exhausted? We push on. Feeling down? We pull ourselves up by the bootstraps. But there are times when bootstraps aren't enough. When stress gets to us and we need to talk to someone about what we're really going through. So we're going to reach out, because sometimes mental health is not a one-person job. Visit loveyourmindtoday.org. That's loveyourmindtoday.org. Brought to you by the Huntsman Mental Health Institute and the Ad Council.
Gear up this fall with the new All-Pro battery by Steel. Tackle any task with 60% more peak power. And a fast charge time of just 10 minutes means it's ready when you are. The All-Pro battery is just the upgrade your shed has been waiting for. Outperform the outdoors with battery tools by Steel. Exclusively available only at your local Steel dealer. 60% peak power. Comparison between AP300PC and AP300S. 10-minute charge time to reach 80% with AL1602MO.
Did you know Atlantic hurricane season runs through November? From gathering necessary supplies to planning an evacuation route, now is the time to make sure you and your family are prepared. And if a storm damages our electric system, local public power providers are ready to respond and restore power quickly and safely. As a public power customer, you benefit from having an electricity provider that restores power faster than other providers do. Visit electricities.com for storm preparation tips and resources.
At the North Carolina Agro-Medicine Institute, we know a safe farm is a profitable one, and we're teaming up with your local NC Cooperative Extension agent to offer the Certified Safe Farm program. It's a non-regulatory safety review with an on-farm walkthrough, health checks, and more. For a limited time, the NC Tobacco Trust Fund Commission is sponsoring up to $1,000 in cost share for participating farms to make safety improvements. Real help to protect you, your workers, and your farm. See more at ncagromedicine.org.
If you want the nation's best auto insurer, look no further than North Carolina Farm Bureau Insurance. Rated #1 in Crash Network's Insurer Report Card 7 years in a row, we're the only insurer in the nation to receive an A+ rating from auto body shops. Our philosophy is simple. Be fair, be quick, be the best. North Carolina Farm Bureau Insurance. Helping you is what we do best.
One Adam. Gold. One Adam. Gold.
Turtle cake? Like, what do we... What?
Isn't that an ice cream?
What? Where's the confetti cake? Because, hello, confetti cake, delicious. With the little, I don't even know if it's real, but the little dots in the icing, like...
None of these are real.
What kind of fake thing that is, but it's delicious. It's my childhood. Like, that wasn't in the top 10. His opinion's invalid to me.
The Adam Gold Show.
It's the Adam Gold Show. I'm Adam Gold. Victoria producing the program. Roddy Jones, ESPN, ABC college football analyst, will join us next hour. We are ready for week 01. I assume he is as well.
Right.
Looking forward to talking to Roddy Jones, a little football with him.
Mm-hmm.
We'll get to that next hour. And then Brenden Whitted. We'll do a little hoops with our guy. All right, right now, one-timers.
I didn't think about it until just now. We'll have to ask Roddy what flavor soda 01 would be for him if he if he had to make it a soda. But first up, from one of our faves, Cold Bread. Which Panthers wide receiver do you predict will make the 53? I say T-Mac, Coker, XL, Horn, Traymon Reed, Mechie, and more on the PS.
Oh, okay. Well, Bryson Tremaine is going to make the team because of special teams. I actually don't think David Moore is going to make the team. I think he ends up on the practice squad because you can do that even with older players now. So I think they'll keep 6 active. It all depends on if they're going to keep both Horn and Mechie, but they could keep, Reed or Washington as the 6th wide receiver. But I don't think they'll keep both Horn and Mechie. Even though I think Mechie leads them in receptions and receiving yards in the preseason. Preseason stats do not matter. But I think Horn will make it. And I actually think they'll keep a bigger wide receiver as the 6th one, and I will say it's Jassim Reed. I love John Mechie. I think it would be a great story if he made it, especially sticking with Bryce Young. But I think Tremaine, Horn, and Reed will be the 3 other wide receivers.
All right, next up, I think this is the Young Life. Do you guys think that they will keep Anthony Chaya since he seems to be a better running back than Trevor?
No, because I think Trevor is a kick returner, for what that's worth. Unless they're going to use somebody else in that role during the season. And you could always stash a player like that on the practice squad. Running backs, you'll be able to find running backs everywhere.
And last up, from Ryan, who are the top 3 teams you believe will improve the most this season versus last season? Speaking of football.
NFL football? Oh, boy.
Yes.
Honestly, I can't answer that in 10 seconds. So let me get to that on the other side, all right? So hang tight.
Asheville to Wilmington, Boone to Durham, The Adam Gold Show on the North Carolina Sports Network.
Listen every afternoon for The Drive with Tim Donnelly.
Football is back. NFL preseason is back, and the excitement is there. The Panthers looked great in the Hall of Fame preseason game. Haynes King was electric. They got the win. Everybody celebrated. But let's pump the brakes a little bit. Kenny Pickett is still the backup quarterback. It's still Bryce Young's team. Haynes King can be a nice piece.
The Drive with Tim Donnelly, 3 to 6 on 99.9 The Fan.
Discover the thrill of precision and elegance with Omega at Bailey's Fine Jewelry. From the depths of the ocean to the heights of space, Omega's Seamaster and Speedmaster collections are crafted for those who dare to explore. With a heritage rooted in innovation and a timeless style inspired by sports, space, and cinematic legends, Omega is the gift for every adventurer. Find your perfect watch at Bailey's Fine Jewelry in Raleigh's Village District. Voted Best Jeweler. Learn more at BaileyBox.com.
Get in the zone, AutoZone.
Welcome to the end of summer sale at AutoZone. We're celebrating the end of long days and short nights with big deals for a short time. Like on Wash and Wax, you can get 3 Meguiar's products for just $20. Need new brakes? Duralast brake pads are free with the purchase of Duralast rotors. We've also got oil deals and more. We're ending the summer right with the end of summer sale at AutoZone.
Get in the zone, AutoZone.
Restrictions apply.
Rev up your summer at the Make This the Summer event going on now at John Heister Chrysler Dodge Jeep Ram in Lillington. Grab summer adventures when you drive home a brand new 2026 Ram 1500 for 20% off. Excludes RHO. See dealer for details. Or expand your options for off-road exploration with a new 2026 Jeep Gladiator. Save 15% off during the Make This the Summer event. Plus, get 2.9% financing for 72 months. So get off your keister and get to John Heister Chrysler Dodge Jeep Ram in Lillington today.
It's bow time. We think a chicken sandwich this good should speak for itself. But when you're talking juicy, hand-breaded, and boldly seasoned chicken breasts, piled up with thick-cut pickles and creamy mayo all on a buttery toasted bun, well, we are happy to say it again and again and again. Bo's Chicken Sandwich. Only at Bojangles. It's bow time.
It's Bo time. Time to satisfy your Bojangles sandwich craving. With Bojangles sandwich lineup, you can choose a flavorful Cajun fried chicken filet sandwich, or a tender Cajun grilled chicken filet sandwich, or a tasty Bo's chicken sandwich. Make it a combo and add your choice of a side and Bojangles legendary iced tea. There's a Bojangles sandwich combo for everyone. Summer just doesn't get any better than that. What are you waiting for? It's Bo time.
At First Carolina Bank, we pride ourselves on building relationships and doing the day-to-day things in banking extremely well. Experience the First Carolina way for yourself or your business today. Visit firstcarolinabank.com. First Carolina Bank. Member FDIC.
Life can get hectic. That's why Progressive provides claim support 24/7, 365 days a year. All the time. But not like in a desperate way. We're not just waiting online for you to talk to us or waiting by the phone. I mean, we are waiting by the phone, but not like staring at it. Well, now I am. I'm staring at it. The point is, Progressive Claim Support is here for you 24/7 in a totally chill, normal way. Progressive Casualty Insurance Company and Affiliates, not available in all states or situations.
This hour of the Triangle Sports Leader is powered by Ritchie Law Firm, Injury Lawyers. Ritchie Law is on top of it. Go to ritchielaw.com.
Get in the hole! That's ritchielaw.com.
Broadcasting live from the Eagle Leasing Storage Studio. WCMC HD1 Holly Springs. 99.9 The Fan. The Triangle Sports Leader.
Let's play good, clean football, and let's get our rules right. And there's some things we're going to have to fix for sure. There's things to look at on film. But generally speaking, we took care of the ball. We got it away from them, so we flipped that part. After the first 2 weeks, we were behind that in the turnover ratio. But to see guys just operate at the line again offensively, have clean football. On the defensive side, not a lot of penalties there. So that's good winning football, and that's our style. And I'm glad that the guys are able to just continue to build week to week on what's been a really good camp.
It's the Adam Gold Show. I'm Adam Gold, Victoria on the ones and twos. Roddy Jones, 20 minutes from now, we'll talk college football. Carolina's taking on TCU in Dublin. County Dublin, by the way. It's very cool. I mean, to be think about being a player and being able to experience that. You know, another city, another culture. By the way, incredible weather. They are expecting like cool, breezy temperatures in Dublin.
Ooh, okay.
I mean, the truth is that the just call it British, even though Ireland is Ireland, so it's a sovereign nation. But the weather in that part of the world, I mean, it gets fall-like pretty quickly. So
I don't hate that.
No, like the Open Championship has been, in the middle of July for a long time. And, I mean, they could have temperatures like during the afternoon in the high 50s, low 60s.
Okay.
It could also be 85.
Oh,
it could be anything, but
layers.
It
We're
is
layers.
Yeah. Good for that's good football weather.
Oh yeah,
right?
for sure.
So
yes.
Look, I hope UNC plays well. We'll talk about it with Roddy Jones coming up at about 1:20. He will join us next hour. Brenden Whitted. We'll talk a little hoops with him tomorrow at this very time. We will be in our conversation with Manny Diaz, Duke's head football coach, and we'll talk about the news of the day, which is, I'm going to guess, still going to be the NCAA and their effort to keep the fifth-year player out of this upcoming season, which, man, we could have all seen this coming, but we didn't, and that is unfortunate. But it is what it is. So let's sort of begin there, and then we'll move on. All right, so I want you to hear from Manny Diaz here, and then we will get to some other things before we break. And again, Roddy Jones will join us, and we'll get back to this topic. But it is what everybody is talking about today when it comes to college football, and partly because there's been a PR campaign. Sometimes when you are first to shape an issue, it is the lasting impression that everybody has. And I think it has been improperly phrased as players coming back to college from the NFL. These players, and right now there are only 2 who have attached themselves to a school. Both players are going back to LSU. They were with Lane Kiffin at Ole Miss, and they are going to LSU. At least they're expected to go to LSU. But those players probably would have stuck around in college. Maybe they wouldn't have, but they were both undrafted, ended up going back to LSU. But until you sign an NFL contract, like undrafted free agents, yeah, you sign with a team, but you're just signing on to practice with that team. Until you get a contract and make the team, you're not really on the roster. So I think to call them NFL players is completely improper, and I think it is intellectually dishonest. Now, I get why it's being done that way. The optics of it all aren't very good. So very quickly before we hear from Manny Diaz, yesterday the SEC put forth a statement saying that athletes who choose to leave college athletics and sign professional contracts, quote, should not then be permitted to return to college competition, end quote. And here's the thing about it. I'm not against that idea, right? If you were, in fact, professional athletes, which these guys really aren't yet, certainly not any more professional than they were getting paid to play college football at Ole Miss. The Big Ten, now, should is definitely very different than will. Should not and will not are different things. The Big Ten today released this statement, and they will vote on it and pass this rule unanimously. Any player who has declared for the NFL draft and did not withdraw, let me just stop here. Seniors don't have to declare for the draft. Appeared on an NFL roster or signed a contract with a pro league. There's only one pro league. Actually, there's the UFL. Cannot be on a Big Ten roster. Cannot. Different than should not. So the Big Ten has drawn a line in the sand. You are not eligible for our league. We'll see what happens if and when a court rules on behalf in favor of the players. Because if that happens, I will be curious to see how Big Ten coaches who might have a roster need address what the court's allowing, declaring legal, getting in the way of the NCAA of enforcing their rules, and what the league wants. We'll see what's going to happen. And we'll see what's going to happen in the Southeastern Conference when you've got 15 schools, theoretically, working against LSU. Or we'll see what other schools decide, you know what? We could really use a left tackle. I'm making up a position, but we'll see what happens at that point. Now, Jim Phillips of the ACC, the commissioner, has come out with a statement that says, yes, we will have this discussion today. They're having meetings within the ACC today. We will have that discussion as well. Manny Diaz, Duke's head coach, who tomorrow at this time we will be talking with on the subject.
I think you'll see more leagues start to govern themselves since we're having such a hard time finding it at a national level. I think everyone understands it's absolutely absurd. We can enjoy the fact that the players can benefit financially from playing in college now. At the same time, recognize the ultimate truth that we're not a professional sports franchise. We are a collegiate, scholastic school activity, and we've got to rein that in. And it's just I think that's just one small symptom of a greater problem where we are being legislated by individual judges. And you can find anybody in a courtroom anywhere to make whatever rule that benefits, whatever team that in whatever state, gets them elected. So it's bad. It's bad policy. You wouldn't run any other type of corporation, organization, anything else the way we're being run right now. And so I hope the leagues do step up, because somebody has to right now, because when there's a vacuum, this is what you see.
Yeah, the NCAA could use better leadership. And this is what happens when you spend years trying to get Congress to fix a problem that you could fix yourself. Now, before we even get to the potential for down the road collective bargaining, the NCAA could have cleared up this eligibility thing on their own. And it would have been very easily protected. They could have figured this out a long time ago. Or they could have simply said that this rule, 5 years to play 5, will go into effect with the following class, not the current class, which excluded those who came into school in the fall of 22. They could have just said, well, we're going to delay the implementation of this for 1 year. So everybody would have had a year to plan. But nope, they wanted it immediate, and this is where they are. I said it at the time, I'm like, great rule. We don't really get a chance to praise the NCAA all that often. Great rule, poorly executed. And they are reaping what they sowed. All right, one more thing, and boy, I don't really want to talk about the subject here, but I want to bring up Enes Kanter. I don't want to talk about the topic that this is surrounding, because, this is as much as I will talk about the men and women's sports issue. Ah! Forget the issue for a second. Enes Kanter is a clown. If you... I don't care which side of the issue you fall on. If you are using Enes Kanter to prove your point, don't. It's performance art for him. It's attention-seeking for him. He was at a WNBA game, and I don't really care if he was just sitting there not saying anything. I don't. What he did a couple of weeks ago, declaring for the WNBA draft, is a clown move. And how it's been propped up as he's just trying to protect women's sports. I promise you, you're not that stupid. So don't fall for that garbage. Ryan Russillo, and I now, formerly of ESPN, now does a podcast, had this to say about Enes Kanter.
Say you're a Sophie Cunningham fan. I don't think you should be an Enes Kanter fan or a Royce White fan, because this is about attention for them. And for Kanter to show up to a WNBA game, get into it with a player on the court, all right, and maybe I'm a little old school with the fact that the player is a woman, and he's going to stand up on the baseline and then get thrown out and do that. And this is where I think the right's hey, there's probably a lot of stuff that I would agree with you on, but I don't even want to talk about it, because I don't want a headline on and this is the part where it's not fear. It's just those of us that have done this long enough go, what's the point? You probably know where I stand on this. I probably don't even feel like talking about it. I don't need to talk about it. I can't wait for football to start. And I don't want some headline or some clickbaity thing that changes what I said or doesn't even come close to representing what I said, but they know that it's going to kind of work. And then you see that and you're like, oh, this sucks. And so you do it enough, or you have that happening enough, you're like, I just don't even want to do any of this stuff. But I'm just telling you, to the right, you thinking Kanter is your guy now, pick a different guy.
That's good. Because he's not doing it for any other reason to draw attention to himself. Same thing with Royce White, by the way, who is less visible in this situation. I also believe just lost pretty handily in a primary run for, I think it's Minnesota governor. I think, could be wrong. Anyway, it's just there's nothing that isn't disingenuous about this issue. I actually feel sorry. People who follow me on Twitter, you know where I stand on the issue. I think Russillo is on the opposite side of it, right? And we can both have the same view of this particular element of it. But people who do follow me on Twitter know where I stand on it. I feel sorry for Sophie Cunningham, because she is being credited with igniting this whole thing. I mean, in a way she did, but I feel sorry for her because it's corrupting the WNBA. She didn't intend for that to happen, right? But now we can't have a conversation about that league. We can't talk about the players in that league because it has been absolutely bastardized by a conversation that is so narrow. We are discussing a fraction of the population. Like, you could barely, if it were a pie, you could barely see it. But that's the conversation. We can't talk about how amazing the players are, how the WNBA is a league right now that needs expansion. Not that can survive expansion, but that needs it because there are too many great players. We don't have that in any other sport. We can't find enough quarterbacks right now to put 32 good ones on the field in the NFL. If they expanded, I mean, we'd have however many more bad quarterbacks if the NFL expanded. We don't have enough. The NHL is going to expand by 2 teams. They don't need 2 more teams. They don't. Look around the league. There's not that many teams that are just, man, we don't have 12 good forwards or 6 good defensemen. We don't need NHL expansion. We don't need Major League Baseball expansion. We don't need NFL expansion. We need WNBA expansion. There are too many good players. So, but we're not talking about it. We're not talking about the quality of the play. And that is a shame. The league has been awesome. Absolutely awesome. All right, Roddy Jones will join us on the other side. College football week 01 next.
Questioning goalie interference calls since day one. The Adam Gold Show on the North Carolina Sports Network.
Excuse me, you think you could spare a square?
Sorry, what?
A square on your smartphone.
Oh, yeah, for the 99.9 The Fan app.
Exactly. Listen to your favorite hosts, teams, and live sports action.
The Carolina Hurricanes are the best team in the NHL. They won the 2026 Stanley Cup.
And every podcast episode at your fingertips, anytime, anywhere.
Available for Apple iPhone and Android phones. Download the 99.9 The Fan app today.
Summer is for pool visits, vacations, and finally taking that adventure you've been putting off. I'm Victoria Vodnecker here for Law Tigers, and one thing I've learned over my time riding motorcycles, or really just any vehicle in general, is you can try to plan for as much as possible when figuring out your next trip, but no one wants to think about the steps you have to take after getting into a wreck. And the reality is, riding your motorcycle comes with that risk, despite all of the benefits it also brings. But one important thing to remember if you're ever in that situation of getting into an accident on your motorcycle that wasn't your fault, always call Law Tigers first before calling your insurance company. At Law Tigers, they're riders too. They understand the lifestyle. They understand the value of your bike and your gear. They know what it's like to go through an accident. So case evaluations are always free, and you're not going to pay a dime until your case is settled. Call 1-800-LAW-TIGERS, North Carolina's motorcycle lawyers. Law Tigers is a network of independent law firms who are members of the American Association of Motorcycle Injury Lawyers. Law Tigers is not a law firm.
Squirrels, nail pops, even bullet holes. This is Holly from Roofworks, and those are some of the main things we see that cause roof leaks. It's never a bad idea to stick your head in the attic periodically and check sheetrock on the ceiling and walls. Finding problems early can save you hundreds to thousands of dollars. Roofworks wants to help you stay ahead of the game with preventative maintenance for your home or business. At Roofworks, we don't want to be the biggest, we just want to be the best. Roofworks.com. That's roof, WERKS.com.
I'm Galen, co-founder of Brooklyn SolarWorks. With my Chase Ink Business Premier Card, I get unlimited 2.5% cash back on purchases of $5,000 or more. So everything we buy to run our solar business gives us cash back that we put back into the neighborhood, donating solar panels to community gardens.
Chase Ink. Cashback built for every business. Find the right card at chase.com/ink. Real business owner compensated for their participation. Cards issued by JPMorgan Chase Bank and a member FDIC. Subject to credit approval. Terms apply.
A torn ACL, stress fracture, aching back, a hip that's had it, life on hold, and all you want is to get it back. Enter Wake Orthopedics. We do it all. In fact, we see patients within 48 hours for everything from sports injuries, spine care, and joint replacement to minimally invasive procedures, surgeries, pediatrics, and more. Visit us today at wakemed.org and get back your life.
Myth: everyone's drinking. Fact: more students are choosing not to drink alcohol than people realize. And it might not always feel that way, but a lot of students are making choices to stay focused, stay safe, and stay in control. And that takes confidence, because leadership is about knowing your limits and being okay standing by them. Real friends respect that, back each other up, and look out for one another. Make a plan, trust your choice, and don't be afraid to speak up. Talk it out, NC, because not everyone's drinking, and it's okay to choose differently.
Learn more at talkitoutnc.org.
For your tushy, it's made by angels, soft and strong, budget friendly. The choice is simple, a roll that feels like paradise, and always at a heavenly price. Angel soft, soft and strong, so it's simple. Pick up a pack today. Angel Soft, soft and strong, simple.
This is Adam Gold.
We're going to have Seth on the show next week when he gets back from vacation. He was by a pool.
What are you doing? Get off Twitter. It's nicer to be on Twitter when you're by a pool anyway.
No, just stop. Stop engaging with people.
The Adam Gold Show.
It's the Adam Gold Show. I am Adam Gold, Victoria producing the program. Remember last week we talked to Steve Wiseman, who has the illustrated book of Duke basketball.
Yep.
And I mentioned that he's on the Mount Rushmore of St. Louis Cardinals fans that I like.
Is Roddy a Cardinals
No,
fan?
he's not. No. But it's similar in that as a Liverpool fan, for whatever reason, Chelsea is like the Cardinals to my Mets, and but Rodney is a world-class human being. Rodney? What is Roddy? I called him. All right, forget it. Forget the whole thing. Roddy Jones, a Georgia Tech legend, ESPN, ABC college football analyst. I apologize for screwing up the whole intro. How you doing?
I think it's an intro befitting of your next guest, me. So it is all good.
No. You deserve way better than that. But congratulations, by the way, to your Blues for a 3-2 win away to Fulham yesterday. Gosh, can we handle the craziness, NFL, NCAA stuff and get it out of the way? Because I am curious. I've been talking about this for a couple of segments already. Like, I think it's kind of being miscast because none of these are NFL players yet. And to me, they would have had options had the NCAA not said you can't play. But what is your take on these players coming, I guess, back to college after spending the last 3 months in NFL camps?
Yeah, I mean, this is it's a complicated thing, and it's long. Like, generally, it doesn't feel right. It doesn't smell right. And so, like, I'm not a fan of it. You're right. I mean, they're not players that have been on NFL rosters for years, or guys that were in mini camps and played in a preseason game, but they've been getting the training and they've gone on. It's a unique circumstance because of the way the NCAA has handled this. And then obviously the courts get involved, and that's when it gets really complicated and convoluted because your eligibility depends on which court case you're under. So, like, all of that is very frustrating. At the end of the day, it doesn't feel right. It doesn't feel like what college sports should be, but I do think it's a one-off. So while I don't like it at all, I am a little hesitant to overreact to like, whoa, this is the end of it all. It's like, no, like it was poorly handled. They really should have done the 5-for-5 deal like in January and just told the 2022 guys that they could play, and then any 2022 guys wouldn't count against the 105. Like that seems like a really easy off-ramp for the NCAA, but they didn't want that, and the schools probably pushed back on that some because they didn't want to have to pay more to have like 130 guys on the roster. So, it's not great. It's not something that I think is worth. I would like a blanket statement, like a blanket rule across the board, and it seems like the conferences are going to step up. Although I don't know how what they're going to do is affected by the temporary restraining orders. So it's just all a mess. How about that?
Yeah, it's a total mess. The Big Ten was definitive. They said no. The SEC said they should not be allowed to compete. So they really haven't done anything yet, although that was just a statement from the league. It was not a vote. The ACC is more inclined to back what the Big Ten did. But here's my question. When those players, because I assume you mentioned a TRO, is possible that those players will be allowed to play according to a court. And when that happens, what will the SEC do since two of them have already signed letters of intent, or I don't know if they signed, but have agreed to go back to or go to LSU? What will the SEC declare them ineligible?
Yeah, I have no idea. I don't know what teeth they have. My assumption is that they can either declare the teams ineligible, and if the ineligible players or declare the players ineligible, if the ineligible players play in the game, they forfeit the game. That's one side. But then you're going to end up in court.
Yeah.
Although, like by the time everything's litigated, who knows what part of the year or what year we're even in. The other thing that they could do is fine the schools, fine the coaches, suspend the schools or the coaches. And depending on how punitive the fines and suspensions are, maybe they can find something there where they can avoid the legal aspect of it and let the results on the field still matter some, although then you may end up in court from the losing teams. So
yeah.
I don't know, AG. Like we're trying to figure it out. It's all a mess, and I think the one thing that we all really want is some clarity. And even if it's not the clarity that we want, clarity helps.
Yeah, I mean, and you alluded to it at first. This could have been handled very easily by simply saying, all right, 2022 incoming class, you can come back to play, but after that, boom, here's where it starts, and that would have been so much simpler. It's funny, Max Johnson, who is going to be the starting quarterback at Georgia Southern, is playing his 7th year of college football, and I'm not against it at all. Nobody is talking about that, but we're actually talking more about players who are following the current NCAA rules. Under current rules, Max Johnson would not be eligible to play, but he is. It's weird,
and that's the messiness of it, because when they did the 5-for-5, they basically said, anybody who would be eligible under previous rules, basically you can use the rules most beneficial to you,
right?
And so that eliminated the guys that had played their 5 years or their 4 years in 5. That eliminated the guys that had exhausted their eligibility, but those who had waivers along the way or injuries could continue to play. And that's part of the reason why I'm trying not to completely overreact with this stuff, because like Daquan Wright is not the oldest player that we've seen play even in the last 2 years. He's not the oldest player this year. Mo Torre at Miami is playing his 8th year of college football. So am I upset about Daquan Wright being able to play? No. I'm annoyed by the circumstances and the lack of clarity nationwide, because there's guys that have been declared ineligible because they were under the Colorado ruling, but because Daquan Wright's in the Louisiana ruling, he's eligible, and there's guys in the Kentucky ruling and the Ohio ruling that are eligible. And then you have this R.J. Luis thing going down at LSU, which is a completely separate thing. So just the messiness of what's going on in the courts has just made it really tough and annoying to follow.
Roddy Jones, ESPN, ABC, college football analyst, also Sirius XM. Let's get to some Week 01 games. I'm combining 0 and 1. I like an expanded week 1. I don't understand week 0. Carolina starts it all off in Dublin. I'm curious what your thoughts are about the Tar Heels. Bobby Petrino, what kind of impact does that have? I don't think there's any Michael Lombardi impact. I really don't. Steve Belichick, maybe, but I think Bill knows defense, so I'm not worried about it too much. But your thoughts on Carolina, another, 60 new players or whatever it is, and a new offensive coordinator?
I think the offensive coordinator change is going to have a positive impact. Bobby Petrino has been good at offense for his entire career, and he did a really nice job at Arkansas the last 2 seasons. That wasn't a super talented offense, but he made it a really effective one. They had some NFL players, but they didn't have 10. They had 3 or 4. So, and none of them were first-round picks. And yet that offense is one of the most challenging to deal with in the SEC. His run games are always challenging, and the play action off of it makes it really tough for a defense to be able to know exactly what's coming their way even after the play starts. So I think he will be good for them offensively. Billy Edwards really has some talent. I mean, you go and you watch this film from Maryland a couple years ago, and when he can get his feet set and deliver the ball on time, he's pretty darn good. So if they're able to do that, then I think they've got a chance to move the ball offensively. I like their skill. The question is the line. And can that line come together to protect Billy Edwards? That's the biggest question, I think, on this team. And defensively, I mean, it's a lot of new faces. They've got enough talent up front to be pretty good there. And Bill Belichick knows a thing or two about defense. So I am bullish on North Carolina being better this year. I don't know if they're enough better to overcome a much tougher schedule.
Yeah.
And I think people are sleeping on TCU a little bit. And there's sort of a little bit of mystery around TCU. Like, they're switching offensive coordinators. They get Gordon Samus over from UConn. So will they go to the full UConn? How much air raid will be in there? There's a little bit of a question there, as there are with a lot of teams this time of year. But I think North Carolina will be better overall. I just don't know that it'll end up with a better record.
Yeah, and the quarterback for TCU, I know he's got to replace Hoover, who ended up going to Indiana. But the quarterback who came from Harvard has put up some pretty impressive numbers over the last 3 years for the Crimson. And if I'm not mistaken, Cooper Barkate, who is now at Miami, who spent last year at Duke, at least was halfway responsible for some of those numbers at Harvard. So, I don't know, maybe the quarterback, maybe they're not really downgrading a quarterback.
There is a lot of buzz around Jaden Craig coming over from Harvard. There are a lot of NFL scouts that thought he would be a mid-round pick last year had he decided to come out. Him going to TCU, he's probably got as much upside as any quarterback in the country in terms of emergence this year. He's a really good player, and Sonny Dykes knows how to coach offenses. Gordon Samus will make them a little more pro style. That's what UConn was last year. But look at what Joe Fagnano did last year at UConn. I mean, at one point he had 20 plus touchdowns and 1 interception. That UConn offense was really good. So yes, I mean, offensively, Jaden Craig is going to be really good this year. And I think TCU as a whole, with what they've got back on the offensive line, they've got some good backs too. I think TCU is going to be pretty good.
Yeah, I think he was responsible for 55, maybe more touchdowns as a starter at Harvard. Roddy Jones from ESPN is joining us here on the Adam Gold Show. I mean, I've heard a lot of people say that the best case scenario for UNC is a disaster. I don't, because I think financially it becomes worse for them, and I think sets them back even further. I just as soon see some improvement. I don't even care if the record's better. If they were to win 4 games, I've said before, I think if they win 5, Bill Belichick's my coach of the year. But I'd just like to see them show some progress, not be a train wreck. And then if it ends after 3 years, which I suspect it will anyway, at least they will be theoretically in a better spot to take the next step.
Yeah, I can see that. I can also see them needing to operate with some urgency because the clock's ticking for all these schools to get good at football and to establish themselves. Because if you read the tea leaves, the opportunity for movement is going to be sometime around 2030, 2031.
Yep.
And so how many years can you really waste doing an experiment like Bill Belichick if you get back-to-back 4-win seasons or 4 and a 5-win season. I just don't know. Like, wouldn't you rather? And this sort of depends on the coaching cycle, but wouldn't you rather go ahead and get ahead of it so that maybe by 2028 you're on the right track with someone you like that's going to propel you in the future? Because, I mean, like it or not, in the next 5 years, Carolina's going to be looking for a coach anyway.
Right.
And so you're hoping to get good seasons out of it from a guy that hasn't proven he can do it in college if it doesn't go well this year. I don't know. I can see it both ways, and I do understand the money piece. Like, Carolina's not printing money from a football standpoint. The other thing is, like, Carolina has a lot of stuff going on basketball-wise. Like, it's Michael Malone's first year. They still got the Dean Dome stuff going on. Like, it's a lot of stuff going on the back end. And who knows where that power struggle is from the powerful people that back Bill Belichick to get him in.
Yeah, there is an internal struggle that we can't see from the outside. Roddy Jones is joining us. NC State is playing in Charlottesville. This game was supposed to be in Brazil. The promoter ditched it, and so we're playing it here. That's fine. I don't think Dave Durham was all that interested in going to Rio, to be perfectly honest. I love C.J. Bailey. I don't know much about the rest of the Duke Scott as well. Don't know a ton about the rest of the team. Everything's a kind of a question mark. But I was surprised that Virginia is almost a touchdown favorite in this game. I think State's got the better quarterback, but I don't know about the rest of it. I'm bullish on the Wolfpack, but obviously Virginia is no easy mark at Scott Stadium.
Yeah, I do think that line is a little confusing. Like, I think Virginia would be a favorite, but it wouldn't be a touchdown. It'd probably be like 3.5 if I were setting the odds. I like NC State a lot. I think the question marks that they have, particularly defensively, are valid, and there's reason to be optimistic that they will be better defensively than they were a year ago. But you just haven't seen it yet. And then offensively, they're going to be very good. I mean, C.J. Bailey's going to be good. Duke Scott's going to be good. There's excitement around what that offensive line can be. They've got some talent on the perimeter. They basically have gotten the Miami Gardens Ravens, C.J. Bailey's Little League team. They've gotten them back together. They didn't get Jeremiah Smith, but they got Chance Robinson and Davion Goss and JoJo Trader, all guys that C.J. Bailey played with when he was, a youth, 7 or 8 years old. So it's made for more comfort, I think, and chemistry on offense. But is Virginia team that is probably one of the more well-resourced programs in the conference now. I mean, you look at what they did in the portal. They went and got 2 starting quarterbacks out of the portal, which does not come cheap. And then they brought in some other pretty highly regarded maybe not the highest regarded, but pretty highly regarded transfers. And so they're invested at Virginia. And I think Tony Elliott's done a really good job there. So I think it's probably the best game of week 0 on the field is that Virginia NC State game.
Roddy Jones is joining us here on the Adam Gold Show. Now, everybody assumes Miami will be great. I'm hoping they will be. Let's assume Miami is as advertised. Maybe the game November 7th against Notre Dame. We are dealing with 2 undefeated teams. That would certainly be awesome. But give me an ACC best case scenario below Miami as we wrap this up.
I think best case scenario would be Clemson beats LSU week 1 and goes on at like 11-1 or 10-2, plays Miami in the ACC championship game, and then you get 2 teams in no matter what, essentially. That's the best case scenario for the ACC. There's also a Louisville aspect to this. Like, say Louisville beats Ole Miss in week 1, goes on, beats Kentucky at the end of the year. There'll be 2 SEC wins. And then, who knows what happened in the league. Let's say they, go, I think they're playing 8 conference games. So that'd be 7-1 or 6-2 in the league. I think that's, and then play Miami in the championship game. I think that resume would have an opportunity to get in. Those are the 2 that I look at that like have a real opportunity without winning the league to get in, other than Miami, because of who's on their schedule, what I think those teams will do later on, and the talent on the team to be able to finish the deal if you do indeed pull off a win in week 1. So those two would probably represent the best case scenario, and I think both are possible. I was at both of those places over the course of our ACC road trips, and I really like both teams. I like Clemson a lot. I think people are sleeping on Clemson a little bit.
Well,
yeah,
that would, when brand names in whatever, if we're talking about basketball, when Duke and Carolina are good, then the league is always going to be thought of to be better. If Clemson is good and Miami is as advertised, the ACC will have a higher, the perception will be better. It would be also nice if Florida State looks competent. Do you have a surprise good team?
Based on how things have gone in the preseason, I would say it's Clemson for me. Like I really think highly of this Clemson team, and I may go down with the ship and end up with egg on my face. But if I've been doing this little blind resume thing. If I told you that there's a team in the country that has the best draft eligible receiver in their league, the best draft eligible defensive end in their league, the best draft eligible linebacker in their league, and the best draft eligible corner in their league, and then asked who it is, I think people would rack their brains to try and figure it, and nobody would guess that it's Clemson. But Bryant Wesco is the best draft eligible receiver in this league. And this is not per me. This is per draft expert Dane Brugler of The Athletic. He's got him the number 5 receiver in the country, which typically would make him a first-round pick.
Sure.
Will Helt is the best draft-eligible defensive end in this league, above a guy like Damon Evans, above a guy at Miami, above a guy like Cleve Lubin at Louisville. He's got him as the number 4 defensive end right now in terms of draft-eligible prospects. Sammy Brown's the number 1 linebacker in the country that's draft-eligible, and Ashton Hampton is the number 3 corner in the country in terms of draft-eligible prospects. And when you put all those guys on the board of like, hey, where do those slots typically go? They're all first-round picks. If history holds. Receiver, sometimes you don't get 5 receivers going in the first round, but you always get 1 linebacker. You usually get 4 defensive ends, and you always get at least 3 corners. So those guys are all what I would consider projected first-round picks. And so when you start with that level of talent, and that level of talent is not an exception at Clemson by any means, you just don't know the names of the other guys. You start with that level of talent, man, and start to work back, and you think, all right, with adequate coaching, this team should be really good because they will be more talented than just about everybody other than Miami. And I think Dabo is an adequate coach still. Some people may disagree with me, but I think he is still an adequate coach that had a bad year last year.
There's no doubt. Wow, adequate coach. I have no jokes for that. Roddy Jones, ESPN, Sirius XM, gentleman and a scholar. I appreciate your time, sir. Enjoy week 01, and I will talk to you soon.
I will enjoy week 01, and I look forward to it.
Thanks, man. Take care. Roddy Jones here on the Adam Gold Show. Clemson, the surprise. I've said this before. I just referred to it. When your brands, football brands, when Miami, Clemson, Florida State, we don't know what Florida State's going to look like. Virginia Tech, don't know what Virginia Tech's going to look like. I think it'll be better with James Franklin. I'll put Louisville as a football brand to a certain extent. When your football brands are good, and I think SMU will be a football brand in the Atlantic Coast Conference. When your football brands are good, the league will have a better perception. Just like in basketball. When Duke and Carolina are good, league just feels better. Whether it's true or not, just feels better. That's what the ACC needs. It needs the football brands to do their job. All right, when we come back, we will stretch and place bets. It is a game week here on the Adam Gold Show.
Because your fantasy football team needs all the help it can get, the Adam Gold Show on the North Carolina Sports Network.
Talking about guns with others might not always feel comfortable, but it could save a life. Here's a way to start a conversation. Your family is going over to your neighbor's home for dinner for the first time. How would you ask if there are any unlocked guns in the home?
Hey, we're so excited for tonight. Before we come over, may I ask a few questions?
Yeah, of course.
Do you have any pets?
Yes, we have a dog.
Great. Do you have a pool outside?
Nope, just a big old backyard.
Nice. Another question. Are there any unlocked guns in the home?
Our guns are stored securely, locked in a safe that the kids can't access.
Awesome.
Yeah.
Now, let's just talk about what we can bring for dessert.
Learn how to have the conversation at agreetoagree.org. A public service announcement brought to you by the Ad Council.
Did you know Atlantic hurricane season runs through November? From gathering necessary supplies to planning an evacuation route, now is the time to make sure you and your family are prepared. And if a storm damages our electric system, local public power providers are ready to respond and restore power quickly and safely. As a public power customer, you benefit from having an electricity provider that restores power faster than other providers do. Visit electricities.com for storm preparation tips and resources.
At the North Carolina Agro-Medicine Institute, we know a safe farm is a profitable one, and we're teaming up with your local NC Cooperative Extension agent to offer the Certified Safe Farm program. It's a non-regulatory safety review with an on-farm walkthrough, health checks, and more. For a limited time, the NC Tobacco Trust Fund Commission is sponsoring up to $1,000 in cost share for participating farms to make safety improvements. Real help to protect you, your workers, and your farm. See more at ncagromedicine.org.
The North Carolina Healthcare Association invites you to listen to this month's podcast, Conversations on the State of Healthcare. This month, we're looking at issues that affect families in every corner of North Carolina. Maternal health. My guest is Marissa Franks from the North Carolina Healthcare Foundation, who shares information about the Maternal Health Action Network.
No single hospital or organization can solve maternal mortality alone. It takes all of us in healthcare and in our communities to do that. But by sharing knowledge, listening to patients, partnering with communities, addressing barriers to care, and implementing proven practices, we can make a real difference. So I think our work demonstrates what's possible when healthcare organizations come together around a common goal, which is helping every mother and baby have the healthiest possible start.
You can learn more and join our latest Conversations on the State of Healthcare wherever you listen to your favorite podcasts. And find out more by visiting nchealthcare.org.
You probably know that rechargeable batteries power electronics like mobile phones, gaming devices, and power tools. But did you know these batteries are also found in devices like electric toothbrushes, CPAP machines, and many more, and should not be disposed of in your trash or recycling bins as they can cause fires? To see a list of devices with lithium-ion batteries and where to dispose of them safely, visit batterysafe.nc.gov. That's batterysafe.nc.gov. Remember, skip the bin, turn your batteries in.
Your child's doctor shares your goals, a healthy future for your child. Doctors recommend vaccines throughout childhood because they protect what matters most, your child's future from preventable disease and serious illness. Discuss any questions you have and check that your child is up to date and talk about any concerns. You're right to have questions. Get real answers. Start a conversation with your doctor today. Visit vaccinesforkids.nc.gov. Paid for by NCDHHS.
This is Adam Gold.
You know, soap attracts dirt, right? That's what soap does. It attracts dirt. Right now, Bill Belichick is soap. That's what he is.
Yeah.
He's soap.
Yeah.
He's attracting all this dirt.
Or he's like an overripe banana and it's attracting all these gnats.
The Adam Gold Show.
It's the Adam Gold Show. I am Adam Gold, Victoria, producing the program. We're going to place bets here in a minute. So, yesterday, and I don't know if it was his day with the cup yesterday, but I saw a photograph with Jacob Slavin with the cup, and he had his gold medal draped around the Stanley Cup. We're in the local time where, you know, like the cup is in Raleigh. Andrei Svechnikov had it recently. I believe the head coach gets it Thursday, I believe. So we're pretty much coming to the end of the tour, or at least the end of the Raleigh portion of the tour. I believe Rod Brindamore gets it Thursday. Anyway, so Slavin had it. And there was a photograph of, the cup with Slavin's gold medal around it. And I think the Hurricanes tweeted out a caption of only one person won the Stanley Cup and the gold medal in the same year. And I tweeted that out, and I said, this is incredible flex from Slavin. Somebody send this pic to Jarvie. I don't know. 2 hours later, open this app for the first time in months, and this is what I'm welcome to. Appreciate that, Adam. Seth Jarvis responded to that. I didn't know Seth was on Twitter. So I don't follow him on Twitter.
No.
I just posted that caption of Slavin's photograph. Somebody obviously sent it. Because he doesn't follow me. Somebody obviously sent it to Jarvis. He saw the photograph. Love it.
Yep.
Love it. Told him I'm here for you, champ. All right.
Yeah, at least he's got one.
He has a cup.
Yep. It's good enough.
Time to stretch.
Well, now...
By the way, do you think that was rude? What
rude?
I did?
No. I mean, I feel like Jarvie likes to razz people. I mean,
Absolutely.
he's a jokester, so yeah, I'm sure he can take it. It's fun.
and he certainly knows my personality.
Yeah.
I've been around him enough, so.
Yeah, no, I think it's totally fine. He gets it.
Yeah.
So, and he better just get used to it because he's got a whole year of it left. He's
He
got
does.
multiple years, actually. So,
Yeah.
yeah, he's just get used to it, Jarvie. But one thing that I don't know if you've seen this, Disney has paired up with the NFL, and they're making Disney characters for each team. So,
Well, the Super Bowl is on ESPN.
Yes.
Coming up in February.
Yes.
So that makes some sense, right?
Yes. They the year of the Super Bowl is what the milestone between Disney and ESPN is calling this.
Yeah.
And so they're going to have some presentation on Valentine's Day of next year, but they're revealing the 32 different Disney characters for teams. So we've got, do you want to take a guess at our Carolina Panthers?
What's the gray bear?
I don't know.
It's at the Country Bear Jamboree.
Oh.
It's at that gray bear.
Well, it's definitely not a bear.
Oh,
so
it's not a bear?
They're going
It's a cat?
with, I think, is it pronounced? Because it's been a minute since I've watched Disney movies.
Me too.
But Bagheera,
No idea.
the panther.
Oh, okay.
So they say they're going with him because it's tough, disciplined, and relentless.
I like it.
Bagheera reflects the Panthers' black and blue identity
Oh,
and
geez.
controlled grit. That's what they say.
Okay.
So, yeah. Okay, Disney. Yeah, we'll go with it. The Falcons, though, if you look at the rest of the NFC South, because they've got them for all of them, but just looking at our wonderful NFC South, we have the Atlanta Falcons, which will be Star Wars Millennium Falcon. Okay, whatever. Then we have the New Orleans Saints is Disney's Lewis, the trumpet player. So from one of the movies.
All right.
I don't think I've seen that one. And then last but not least, not surprised with this one, Tampa Bay Buccaneers going with Captain Hook. So
Oh, I like it.
Right?
I like that.
Yeah. So that makes all the sense. You know what else makes sense? When I bet on my Cubbies.
Place your bets, do you? I bet you slice into the woods $100.
Gambling is illegal in Bushwood, sir, and I never slide.
Okay, you can owe me. I owe you one.
By the way,
7-0 shutout yesterday. Sorry.
Oh, really? I won when I was last here on Thursday.
Yeah.
I placed 2 Premier League wagers.
Uh-huh.
Won them both.
Nice. I only had time on Friday. You weren't here for it, but I only had time to pick 2. And DRD did win his fight against Roman Delizzi, but I picked by the points. He knocked him out. But, however, Petrino, I did pick by the points. Plus 320. That came through. Guess how many real units I put on that
0.
one? Yeah, exactly. So today, we'll see if I put any real units on this one. But how can the Cubbies play and me not say PCA is going to hit a home run? So plus 360. MVP.
You should. You should absolutely. All right. We will start in Major League Baseball. Miami hosting Boston today. Boston's playing a little bit better. They had kind of fallen off it a little bit. But Miami's playing fairly well as well. Give me the Marlins at home under 7.5, plus 250.
All right. Well, since I mentioned the Cubbies and their shutout 7-0 yesterday, let's do it again, but let's take the over. So going with my Cubbies, I'll take over 8. That's plus 200.
All right. Back to Major League Baseball. Houston is taking on the Yankees. Houston is an underdog. I believe they're in the Bronx. Doesn't really matter. I'll take Houston and under 8.5. That is plus 322.
Okay, well, I'm staying away from your Mets and Brewers game.
Gosh, the Mets are
yeah. So but because I love my Cubbies, that means I hate the White Sox. So they're playing against the Rangers today. Give me the Rangers to win. White Sox are at-home underdogs at plus 100. So give me the Rangers to win, and I'll take the over 7.5. That's plus 240.
All right. Nottingham Forest is home to Leeds. And this is EFL Cup, right? They have 2 cup competitions in England. This is the lesser of the 2. The only reason why I would care about this, they just opened up the Premier League against each other at Forest. They're playing again. I wonder if Leeds even went back. Did you go back home to Leeds? I'll take a different outcome. Give me Forest. That is plus 125. Although Leeds looks like they might be formidable this year. But I'll take Forest plus 125 at home at the City Ground to move on over Leeds. There you go. Next hour, we will talk hoops with Brenden Whitted, and we will have the Wall of Sound when we come back, including you'll hear from Manny Diaz at Duke.
Delivering more hits than the Canes forecheck.
Shoot, he scores!
The Adam Gold Show on the North Carolina Sports Network.
Hey, Carolina Panthers fans, it's Dennis Cox from 99.9 The Fan. For all the inside information on your team, join me and my co-host, WRL TV's Chris Lee, for our podcast, Panthers Playbook, presented by Wake Orthopedics. In every episode, we'll keep you up to date on your Panthers, and we'll do it with access only we can provide. Locker room insight, exclusive interviews, and in-depth looks from training camp as the regular season approaches. Follow and subscribe to Panthers Playbook wherever you discover your favorite podcasts or watch on YouTube.
It's almost football season in the Bull City, and Duke football is back. Don't miss Duke's 2026 home opener as the defending ACC champions take on the Tulane Green Wave at Brooks Field at Wallace Wade Stadium. Kickoff is Saturday, September 5th at 3:30. Tickets start at just $37 and include free parking. Coach Manny Diaz leads the charge. Get your seats now at goduke.com/footballticks or call 919-681-BLUE. Let's go, Duke!
If you have a 2%, 3%, or 4% mortgage rate, don't refinance it. You don't have to, but you can still get cash out of your home. Introducing Loan Pronto's zero-cost equity loan. Hey, it's Dennis Cox. That's right. With Loan Pronto, you can get all the cash you need without touching your first mortgage and without any fees. One local homeowner just got $100,000, paid off all their credit cards, paid off their existing HELOC, remodeled their kitchen, and saved over $1,500 per month. It gets better. There's no hard credit pull up front, usually no appraisal, no long drawn-out process, and listen, no closing costs. You may be able to even skip your next 2 house payments. Call Loan Pronto now. Leave your low-rate mortgage intact, but get the cash you need in as little as 2 weeks without paying closing costs. LoanPronto.com. See how much you can get right now. Call 919-381-1760. That's 919-381-1760. LoanPronto.com. For qualified homeowners, equal housing lender, NMLS 1661781, NMLSConsumerAccess.org.
It's bow time. We think a chicken sandwich this good should speak for itself. But when you're talking juicy, hand-breaded, and boldly seasoned chicken breasts, piled up with thick-cut pickles and creamy mayo all on a buttery toasted bun, well, we are happy to say it again and again and again. Bo's Chicken Sandwich, only at Bojangles. It's Bo time.
It's Bo time. Time to satisfy your Bojangles sandwich craving. With Bojangles sandwich lineup, you can choose a flavorful Cajun fried chicken filet sandwich, or a tender Cajun grilled chicken filet sandwich, or a tasty Bo's chicken sandwich. Make it a combo and add your choice of a side and Bojangles legendary iced tea. There's a Bojangles sandwich combo for everyone. Summer just doesn't get any better than that. What are you waiting for? It's Bo time.
Stay informed with The Rundown, the daily newsletter from High School OT that delivers high school sports news and insights straight to your inbox. Brought to you by High School OT and powered by our sponsors, Wake Orthopedics and First Carolina Bank. Subscribe to The Rundown at highschoolot.com.
Having insurance isn't the same as having State Farm. It's like needing a lawyer, but getting some guy who just watches courtroom dramas.
How does the defendant plead?
Guilty. Wait, what? Also, objection.
You object to what?
Erroneous.
Counsel, approach the bench.
Hey, can I get a whack at the gavel?
You wouldn't settle for just any lawyer, so don't settle for just any insurance. Get the real deal with State Farm. Like a good neighbor, State Farm is there.
I'm attorney Brian Ritchie. Getting hurt in a car wreck comes with all kinds of stress and frustration. But when you call me, I'll be on top of all of it. So all you need to worry about is getting better. If you've been injured in a car wreck, I'm on top of it. Contact us at ritchielaw.com.
Broadcasting live from the Eagle Leasing Storage Studio. WCMC HD1 Holly Springs. 99.9 The Fan. The Triangle Sports Leader.
All those players that have been on this ride with either Pat Murphy or under Pat Murphy as bench coach under Craig Counsell, they have a ton of playoff experience now. They expect it. And there's a lot of young players like Bryce that actually are very familiar with this. I think they can take that next step. They're not like laden with superstars and household names. And, they're talking about a team that is top 5 in scoring runs. They're also top 5 in pitching. They're one in a lot of categories. So on paper, this is a good team, and they're executing in the win column.
Our friend Doug Glanville from ESPN, speaking about the National League Central Division leading Milwaukee Brewers. By the way, happy birthday to Doug Glanville. It's his birthday today.
Oh, well, happy birthday,
Absolutely. I know that because good friends with his brother, who lives locally here in Raleigh. Doug Glanville lived in Raleigh for a time before relocating up to Bristol. Now lives in, I think, West Hartford. When ESPN wanted him for a much larger role. Regardless, we want Doug to come back. So happy birthday to Doug Glanville. All right, coming up in a little bit, we'll talk hoops with Brenden Whitted, and he is one of our hoops gurus. Focus a little bit on the WNBA, which is getting down to the latter part of their season as we head to the playoffs. And I know there's a lot of talk about the Olympic team, or the national team. I think for the World Cup is coming up. Anyway, we'll talk hoops with Brenden coming up in a little bit. Lots to do in the Wall of Sound.
The Wall of Sound is a function of this studio. There's no doubt about it.
First thing I want to do is I want to hear from Manny Diaz. Again, he will join us tomorrow, straight up at 1 o'clock. We will talk to the Duke head football coach in advance of the start of the season. And one of the things we will be discussing, and they are well aware of this, are his thoughts on those players who have gone through an NFL training camp, maybe even played in a preseason game or two, coming back to college because the rules today would have them eligible. Here is Manny.
I think you'll see more leagues start to govern themselves since we're having such a hard time finding it at a national level. I think everyone understands it's absolutely absurd. We can enjoy the fact that the players can benefit financially from playing in college now, at the same time recognize the ultimate truth that we're not a professional sports franchise. We are, we are a collegiate, scholastic school activity, and we've got to rein that in. And it's just I think that's just one small symptom of a greater problem where we are being legislated by individual judges. And you can find anybody in a courtroom anywhere to make whatever rule that benefits, whatever team that in whatever state, gets them elected. So I just, it's bad. It's bad policy. You wouldn't run any other type of corporation, organization, anything else the way we're being run right now. And so I hope the leagues do step up, because somebody has to right now, because when there's a vacuum, this is what you see.
All right, I'll bring it up this way, and we'll get into it more with Manny Diaz tomorrow. It is bad policy. Had the NCAA done the smart thing and simply grandfathered the incoming class of 2022 since they've just ruled and decided 5 years active in the 5-year period, then these players would have had options that they did not have otherwise. These players who were not drafted by the NFL, but did go to a training camp and have played in a couple of preseason games. They're not NFL players until they're on a roster. They're not on the 53-man roster at this point. They're not being paid as NFL players. They are being compensated for training camp, but that is not being paid as an NFL player. Had the NCAA done the right thing, which is back up a good rule by understanding that there are players that should have been eligible under that rule, had they done that thing correctly, then we would have zero problem with any of these players, because they would have had the option to come back. And then if they don't take the option, then feel free to say, no, you went there, you're gone. Never mind that we have players who played professionally who are eligible in basketball. Players who come from Europe, who played for pro teams and earned money. Players who played in the G League or, I guess the G League, who came back and earned money. Those players somehow got eligible. The NCAA has shown a lack of leadership in this situation. It is coming back to bite them. The premise that Manny is talking about, I get. We'll see what happens if LSU tries to play these players. We'll see what happens if a court backs the players up enough to the point where the conferences would have to defend it legally, even against one of their own members. That will tell the difference. All right, one more thing before we take a break. Live Golf played their season finale yesterday. For a lot of people, it's the end of that tour. I don't know if that's going to be the case or not, but it was certainly the end of the season. Brian Rolap, who is the CEO, I guess what they're calling the commissioner now, of the PGA Tour, was on with Pat McAfee earlier today, and the question was posed to him, what to do if a John Rahm, if a Terrell Hatton, if a Joaquin Neiman, if a Cam Smith, Bryson DeChambeau, if they wanted to come back to the PGA Tour.
I'm not sure what the next iteration of that tour is going to be. We've clearly been focused on the PGA Tour and how we make it better. But I said it this morning. Here's the thing. Great thing about golf is it's a meritocracy, and basically you earn what you earn. And I think whatever we do for whatever player, if you've been on the tour before or haven't been on the tour before, you're going to have to earn it, right? And so you're going to have to earn your way back. And then second, look, we're a membership organization. We don't have a collective bargaining agreement. These guys are under contract at the tour, but what we do have is rules. That's how we keep the whole thing together. And if we didn't have those rules, all this great things we're talking about, a tour championship and all these events, we couldn't put on for fans and our partners. So because they're rules, that holds everything together. And if you violate those rules, there'll be consequences. So what those will be, I don't know. We've been very public those guys that are under contract, I don't know when they're not going to be under contract. If they can demonstrate that they're no longer on a contract, then we'll have a conversation. But that really hasn't been the conversation. That hasn't been the case yet.
All right, so real quick, the PGA Tour has also announced the framework of how their postseason is going to work when it changes, which is not in the upcoming season. The 2027 season will stay just as we all watched it. And we have the Tour Championship coming up this week in Atlanta. It'll be the exact same format as this year. Next year, 2028 is when the whole thing changes. Match play will, by the way, be involved in the Tour Championship, and that's cool. Brian Rolap's not being completely honest. He is well aware of what's going on with LIV because he'd be foolish not to. He just doesn't want to comment on it, and that's fair. He's also aware of contracts and the other players. I'd be stunned if there weren't back-channel conversations between the representatives of Jon Rahm and the PGA Tour. But the rest of what he said is probably true. That the way Brooks Koepka became a PGA Tour member this year is likely not going to be available to anyone else. Maybe Jon Rahm would be the exception there, but I don't think so. And this is why when we spoke to, I think it was Bob Harrig last week, I said this. If those players are going to come back and be a part of the PGA Tour in 28, the top tier of the PGA Tour, what they're calling the championship part of the tour, if they're going to do that, then they have to be a part of the tour this upcoming season in some way, shape, or form. Otherwise, 28 is out of the question. So I would expect we will see more of that movement, if at all, in the next, I'd say month, 2 months. Those things will have to be ironed out. And because I think they're going to have to play much the way Koepka did this year. I don't think they will have to take a gap year, what Patrick Reed did, by playing essentially DP World Tour, European Tour events all season long because he was ineligible to play a PGA Tour event until now. Now he can play the PGA Tour. He's not part of the Tour Championship, but in the fall, he can play PGA Tour level events. We'll see what happens. All right, let's break. Brenden Whitted, Hoops, next.
His Zamboni is bigger than yours. The Adam Gold Show on the North Carolina Sports Network.
The Pack Therapy Podcast is in session, thanks to the Red and White Shop. Join me, Tim Donnelly, alongside Wolfpack great Mike Glennon.
We'll set you up every week for Wolfpack football with inside information and insight into every opponent.
Plus, we break down the game-changing X's and O's.
And what to keep your eye on as we roll towards the college football postseason.
Follow and subscribe to Pack Therapy wherever you discover your favorite podcasts. Or you can watch on YouTube.
Hey, it's Adam Gold from my friend Gordon Miller, Miller Lending, Kildare Farm, Road and Cary. And just because I've been gone for 4 days doesn't mean that the mortgage game has changed. Other companies still ask you for a closing cost. Never at Miller Lending, home of the original no closing cost mortgage, which Gordon Miller invented back in 1987. Brought it to the Triangle in 1996. I met him in 99. Have had 11 mortgages through Miller Lending. Have never paid a single dime in closing costs. I have saved over $50,000 just in closing costs. Never mind how much I've lowered my monthly payment each time I have refinanced. I can't even calculate the savings on that. Miller Lending has saved me so much money. They could save you too. All you got to do is find them online, MillerLending.com. That's the place to go. Great website, by the way. Helpful videos. Miller Lending on Kildare Farm Road and Cary, an equal housing lender. NMLS ID 250-2146.
It's time to celebrate Global Golf Raleigh's anniversary sale August 24th to the 29th. Save $50 off purchases of $300 and $125 on $600. Plus pre-owned Vokey wedges starting at $89.99 and take 20% off golf bags. Also get a huge 50% trade-in bonus towards your next upgrade. Visit the Global Golf Outlet at 7320 ACC Boulevard in North Raleigh. Open Monday through Saturday, 10 to 6. Global Golf, home of the best deals in golf. Some exclusions apply. In-store offers only.
We all want more for North Carolina. More boundless views, more adventures in the outdoors, and more clean roads to get there. But to get more, we have to do less. Less littering, that is. Make it your nature to trash your trash and keep NC clean. And we'll all have more reasons to love North Carolina. Litter less, get more. For more on the 7 outdoor NC Leave No Trace principles, visit OutdoorNC.com. Sponsored by the North Carolina Association of Broadcasters and Visit North Carolina, a part of the Economic Development Partnership of North Carolina in cooperation with this station.
Hey, it's Paul Lyhander for DraftKings. Something big is coming. On September 2nd, DraftKings Game Day arrives with massive deals, exclusive offers, and an all-day celebration built for sports fans. Sign up with DraftKings today with code Paul and get ready to celebrate the biggest day of the season, whatever you're betting. DraftKings Game Day has deals dropping all day long. One app, every sport. DraftKings Game Day is yours. Mark the date. September 2nd, DraftKings Game Day is the kickoff of your new season, a new era, and the biggest day in sports history. Get ready to celebrate. New DraftKings customers sign up with code Paul. Spend $5 to get $200 in bonus bets within 21 days. That's code Paul. In partnership with DraftKings, the crown is yours. Gambling problem? Call 877-718-5543 or visit morethanagame.nc.gov. 21 plus, North Carolina only. Eligibility restrictions apply. $50 in non-withdrawable bonus bets issued every 7 days via click to claim for 21 days. Bonus bets expire 7 days after issuance. For additional terms and responsible gaming resources, see sportsbook.draftkings.com/promos. Limited time offer.
Life can get hectic. That's why Progressive provides claim support 24/7, 365 days a year, all the time. But not like in a desperate way. We're not just waiting online for you to talk to us or waiting by the phone. I mean, we are waiting by the phone, but not like staring at it. Well, now I am. I'm staring at it. The point is, Progressive Claim Support is here for you 24/7 in a totally chill, normal way. Progressive Casualty Insurance Company and Affiliates, not available in all states or situations.
One Adam. Gold. One Adam. Gold.
Turtle cake? Like, what are we... What?
Isn't that an ice cream?
What? Where's the confetti cake? Because, hello, confetti cake, delicious. With the little, I don't even know if it's real, but the little dots in the icing, like...
None of these are real.
What kind of fake thing that is, but it's delicious. It's my childhood. Like, that wasn't in the top 10. His opinion's invalid to me.
The Adam Gold Show.
It's the Adam Gold Show. I'm Adam Gold. Victoria producing the program. Not going to get into the sticky wicket type issue, but the WNBA is coming down to the end of the season. I don't know why you laugh. Brenden Whitted is in studio.
There'd be something better than sticky wicket right
well,
there.
Just,
there absolutely would be something better.
I didn't mean anything by that. It's all right. It's a good way to start. It's a good way to start. Never mind. But the W's had an incredible year.
Yeah.
And I mean, we're going to talk some NBA stuff as well, but the season ends Sunday. Playoffs are obviously will follow. And I was just talking about this, and we're going to get into some players here.
Yeah.
There are sports that will expand. The NHL is going to expand by 2 teams in the next couple of years. One of them will be in Texas. Who knows where the other will be? I think Major League Baseball will expand soon.
Really?
And I think the NFL is thinking about expanding overseas.
The NBA definitely is. They're Vegas is happening. Like that's going to be a thing that happens.
No question about that. But none of those leagues need to expand. They just want to expand, expansion fees and whatnot. The WNBA, you could make the argument, needs it.
Yeah.
I mean, because too much talent. We have, Juju Watkins is coming in the league next, right? Too much talent has been pouring into this league. The level of play is better than it's ever been. I know you have been. I follow you on Twitter at HU Cosell. You tweet about the league all the time. talk to us about Olivia Miles and what she has brought to Minnesota. And they're just getting
Fee Collier back.
Yeah, she's coming back. She's been a great spokesperson for the league, by the way.
Yes, yeah.
I mean, that's a team that could win a title.
Oh, they're number one ranked right now. They've been on the precipice for a while. And I personally, out of the big three, there's a big three in WNBA. It's Breanna Stewart, Asia Wilson, and Fee Collier. Fee's my favorite,
right?
Just because of
Asia?
Huh?
More than
No.
Asia?
I think Asia has been better. She's had a better career.
Okay.
There's no disputing that, and I think she should win the MVP this year. I know there's been a lot of talk about several people. Kelsey Mitchell was there. Olivia Miles, rookie, who was definitely going to be a rookie year.
Yeah,
she was in the conversation for a little bit. But Asia, she's leading points per game, blocks per game, win shares, usage rate. Like she just is. This is who she is, the most dominant force in WNBA. But Fee has always been my favorite because she has this cool way of playing. She kind of reminds me of Dirk a little bit.
Okay.
And like she's always got the jumper, but like she's got the size to get inside and finish through contact, and she's looked good coming off of her injury. And the fact that she's been able to pair that with Olivia Miles is great. McBride is a fantastic shooter that they have as well. So they have a three-headed dragon right there. And it's hard for me not to look at Olivia Miles and then look at Fee in terms of their talent, kind of where their positions are and where they are in their career, and not think about Kobe and Shaq, right?
Really?
Like it's like that. Miles looked like she's like on that trajectory, right? Young Kobe, right? Like, like young, air ball in the playoffs, right. Kobe, but you still see it coming, right? It's still there, and Fee's just been dominant for a while, and you put those people together. I think that this is their year. I want it to be their year. If they don't get it this year, I don't know when they will.
Look, it's funny. I'm looking at the standings here. Las Vegas is third. They're the two-time defending champs, or they just won it last year?
They are no, because New York won the year before.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
And to me, the conversation about the league started when Caitlin Clark comes in, and she brings all these eyeballs to the league. And I said, hey, I'm not going to lie. That's when I went, oh my gosh, Asia Wilson is she's a unicorn.
Yeah.
She's really a guard.
She the fact they're able to run her off of screens for pin downs, like she feels very comfortable coming up from that baseline, having somebody set a screen and her catching the elbow and shooting. Like that is that's not something that, for somebody of her size, she's 6'4", lefty, like so it's already awkward. And so like she's able to pull up and just like get in her spot. She's really good in terms of her footwork. I think that's improved. And her defense is, her offense is so overwhelming. It's easy to forget. This is a multiple-time defensive player of the year. Like she's nice. Yeah.
And she has an unfair advantage because she gets to go home and practice against her. I don't know if they're engaged or not.
I don't know.
But clearly
Bam.
her significant other is Bam Adebayo. That definitely has to give her. If it was an NCAA issue, we'd have people complaining about it all the time. Is Indiana legitimately good, or are they Caitlin Clark and some other good pieces around?
Yeah.
Sophie Cunningham she's a role player and a good player, but a role player. She's a good player.
I mean,
you don't think she's a good player?
She was -10 in the game. They won by double digits.
She's a role player.
I think she's -33 in their last
oh, really?
5 games. Like she's not. I mean, she has the role is seventh person off the bench. Occasionally hit a three. She's I guess their stretch person when on that second unit. But I mean,
she's an enforcer, right?
I mean, yeah, that is kind of how she got a lot of her rep, and then she built her kind of social media. Like once she got memeified, I guess for lack of a better term, like people started being like, oh, I would like to follow this person on social media.
So without touching the third rail, compare her to Dejanay Carrington.
Oh, Carrington is a real one. Like she's a real playmaker. She's obviously a starter, so that's one thing. But like she's able to take games over kind of with her energy. I think she had a career high a few weeks ago.
Right.
And like she just you feel it. Like you feel her. She's one of those people, kind of like Courtney Williams, and the Lynx were missing her last night. She's one of those people who energy you feel regardless of how her shot is falling. And like that's what I mean. Like that's an important part. She's not an all-time great scorer or anything like that, but I think that she's the kind of glue person, your Josh Hart, like that will do a lot of different things that you'll like to see overall come winning time.
Brenden Whitted is in studio with us here. The Chicago Sky traded Angel Reese to Atlanta. I think that surprised a lot of people.
Yeah.
Atlanta had not been, if I'm not mistaken, not been good.
No.
They are now. How much of that is based on Angel elevating her game? She's still offensively not awesome.
Yeah.
Right? But it's okay. She's really there to defend, rebound, and get a ton of offensive rebounds and extend possessions. How much of it is her experience and her presence in the middle?
I mean, it's important. I mean, she just set a
26 rebounds.
Yeah, 26 rebounds. So she set the single game record, which I think Asia had, and also the regular season record for the total number of rebounds. So like that was a big night for her. She just came off of a 20-10-5 night when you talked about her offense, which has been improving.
Right.
She was perfect from the field. She's really, you could tell it's slow in coming necessarily. Like I think people thought that maybe she'd be a little bit further along in her offensive journey, but the rabid determination to go get those rebounds, I think that's a skill. Like the high motor is a talent, right?
Yeah.
And the ability to rebound well is a skill. People have had whole careers based just off of that, and like the other stuff is coming along a little slowly, but she's been an important part to that squad. Absolutely.
No matter what level
she's
of
player of the week this year. Actually, I'm player of the week this week. Actually,
no matter what level of basketball or what gender, playing hard is not like it's hard to become a player who does that.
Yeah, that's not really something. Yeah, that's not really I'm gonna flip this switch type.
Right.
That's really like you see it in the lower ranks, and you graduate. Like I'm trying to come up with a guy who I felt was kind of laissez-faire, and then all of a sudden became a demon, and I don't have anybody coming to mind.
You know the name Juan Dixon, right? Okay.
Do I know that
So
name
for
Juan
people
Dixon?
listening, you guys know who Juan Dixon is, the Maryland legend. When Gary Williams was the head coach at Maryland, and he actually did not recruit Juan Dixon.
Okay.
Billy Hahn was an assistant coach, and he was out. I think it was it Calvert Hall? I think where he went in Baltimore, as a prep school in Baltimore, and they actually went to watch another player. Billy Hahn did, the assistant, went to watch another player, and all he could think about, having watched that game, and he called Gary from the game and went, "You got to see this Dixon kid," because they were getting crushed, but he was all over the place. He's actually playing inside. Yes.
He had like 6'3" on his tippy toes.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And in high school though, you can be a forward at 6'3".
I guess so. I guess
right?
that is true. I mean, I would want the ball in my best player's hands, and it would have.
But he wasn't necessarily that.
Okay.
Okay.
Heard.
And he was just all over the place, ball of energy. And what happened was all of a sudden work ethic, skill. So the whole point of that story was effort is a skill. Just kind of backing that up, and that is a tool.
She's also from B-More.
Is she?
I think Reese is from B-More. Yeah. So.
She is. Absolutely.
Yeah. So that's that. There you go.
Maybe it has something to do with the crab cakes. I don't know. She's a fun player to watch.
Yeah.
But the league is filled.
Yeah.
With them. I mean, no surprise that Caitlin Clark is on that World Cup team, right? Where would you put her? Before I go, I want to ask you some NBA stuff too. Where would you put Clark if you were ranking the players in the league?
All right. Well, I already told you.
Is she a top 5 player? Is she a top 10 player?
She's definitely top 10. I take, and this might be my own bias showing, I take issue with some of the stuff that goes along with her in terms of just like the flailing and flopping. Right. It's just so, and
she's not a great defender.
She's not a great defender, but it's you don't have to do any of that. You are a great player.
Right.
Right. You don't have to, it doesn't have to be every single time down that you're trying to draw a foul, and then when you don't draw a foul.
So how I feel about James Harden.
Yeah. Okay. And that's how I feel about Luka. Right, it's the exact same way. I'm like, Luka, you're so good, but like, if you don't get like, there was a sequence. Man, I forget the team they're playing. A sequence 2 games ago where she gets she doesn't get a call, then she fouls that late game situation, then she missed the free throw, and you can tell like she's just kind of like just not locked in on the game. It was about I didn't get the foul, and why didn't this happen? like you're going to be in so many big time situations where you have to kind of lock in, and you might not get the call. Right? You might deserve the call and don't get it. That can't mean that you are devoid of helping your team for the next 2 game minutes because you don't have that time. And so this is a team Indiana Fever have put on clinics in terms of their offense. They are juggernauts on that side. We mentioned Caitlin Clark. Kelsey Mitchell and Aaliyah Boston. Don't forget Boston down low. She can disappear at times, which I don't love, but that is a team that has to feel they have a puncher's chance to win this title because their offense has been that good.
Yeah, Kelsey Mitchell's had an amazing year.
I mean, to me, I would put her in second place for MVP. Like, she's been so good. She had the longest 20-point streak outside of Asia this year.
Not on the preliminary World Cup roster, though.
Really?
I don't believe.
I didn't get a chance to look at it, but that would be surprising.
Yeah. I mean, she's had that kind of year.
Yeah.
I don't want to get into the conversation, but as everything around, I mean, to me, it's unfair to everybody. I think it's also unfair to Sophie, even though in many ways she's like the recent trigger point to the whole conversation, because people are not having conversations about the players and the games and the situations unless somebody commits a hard foul on Caitlin Clark and then becomes culture war again. But just how unfair is it to the players who have put forth one of the best seasons in that league's history?
I don't know if I would say it's unfair to Cunningham. I actually wouldn't at all say that.
Okay.
But I will say that if you want a silver linings this specific conversation, because there's going to be more. This league is going to be a microcosm of a lot of stuff that it doesn't necessarily want to be involved in. But
right,
that's where we are right now.
They could use better leadership.
They could certainly use better leadership and stronger leadership. I think that she has to have. I'm not going to say in her defense, but I think as a total of what she's trying to balance. She's trying to balance this new influx of fans who she wants to keep, some of who aren't actual fans. And then also she probably has to have a very interesting relationship with Adam Silver, the commissioner of the NBA.
I think he has a lot to do with this.
I'm sure that she's getting a lot of counsel from a lot of people, and that's true. But I will say that this has also meant that people like Natasha Cloud, who got into it with Cantor Freedom or whatever, she came out with, hey, this is an inclusive space. You belong here. Speaking directly to the trans community, you belong here. Like, be here. Be comfortable here. And for a league, and Coach Cheryl Reeve has also done it. But like for a league that has very clearly been queer friendly for a long time, this has meant that they've had to kind of more honestly, hey, we're going to actively walk into this role as opposed to just kind of being assumed, right? It is assumed because so many of their athletes are lesbian, but this has been an opportunity for them to more formally take on that armor of like, hey, this is, and so if you want to say any sort of silver lining about it, it's the fact that, hey, they're going to be more outspoken about making sure that this is a safe space for everybody involved.
And you care about your fan base.
Yes.
And, like, I don't know what the percentage is, but let's just say, 40% of your fan base is part of that community. You owe them.
Absolutely.
You owe them.
Because that has been a safe space for marginalized people, and and to now feel like you're getting pushed out of your, the space that you were already, and not to feel that support from the thing that you've loved. I can understand that make you feel a certain sort of way as a fan.
There are so many people who find this issue to be black and white, and it's not. It is incredibly gray, and I get all the conversation. I encourage people to go hear Coco Gauff. I don't know if you saw the clip.
I didn't see
Coco
it.
Gauff was asked the question about it probably 2 weeks ago. Her response demonstrates just how delicate an issue that this is. Let me get to some NBA stuff before we have to say goodbye. When we saw that LaMelo Ball was traded, we thought that there were going to be some things coming down the pike that would, like, compensate. Charlotte would compensate for not having LaMelo. What did they do?
They got Grayson Allen, they got Naz Reid, and they got Royce
Well, the
O'Neal.
Naz Reid came in the
in the joint, but also they got Miles Bridges got sent off. They also got I think 2 different unprotected 2033.
Yeah, but I'm talking about for this.
But for this year, no. Look, this is And they got Dennis Schroeder more recently. They got rid of Trey Mann.
So like
they've added a lot of talent. I don't know how this is going to mix. This is a lot of different stuff. These are a lot of moving parts all trying to come together. Everyone's going to have to find their particular role. I thought it was interesting that they put out the snippet, like the snippets about like their decision to trade LaMelo and their decision. Like there were little edits that their media team came out with. I thought that was a very interesting and kind of deft way of handling this. Like, hey, let it breathe for a second. Like. Let people get over the anger or the shock or whatever, because it was a shock to me. Like when I heard LaMelo was gone, I was like, I didn't hear anything about this.
Yeah, it would definitely.
And so like let folks be salty. I was salty online. That's okay.
It's fine.
And so like let it, and then we'll come back with here's why we did it. You're in a better place now as a fan base because you've had to accept it now because league's about to start in a little bit. So, like, you've had to accept it by now. And so, like, now you can listen to why we did this. This is the message. This is the future. I thought it was very deft by that media program. But, like, look, we need to go ahead and do this once and then get on with it. But I thought they did a good job waiting for a little bit for the shock to wear off.
It's not the same as when the Panthers essentially pushed Cam Newton out.
No.
Right? But LaMelo was, for the Hornets, their most recent version of a star.
Yeah.
And now you don't have that. Now you've got some other very good players, and nobody's saying that. And I don't know, they might still end up being a team that's in that play-in.
That's kind of what it feels like a little bit.
In that range where you can, push for a spot in that bottom four, and then who knows, you win a game.
I'd be interested to see what their odds are walking into this season. I haven't checked them yet.
I haven't looked at it either.
I probably will give it a peek at some point.
But you have now gotten rid of on your own decision. He didn't leave via free agency.
Right.
You traded him because you didn't want to pay him that money, which I get.
Yeah.
I totally get. I'll be interested to see how the fans, especially if it doesn't go well early, over the first, 25, 30 games of the season.
I can see it not going well early.
Right.
Too. Like that is a very, because, and I thought this was interesting. Coach Lee talked about this with Kobe White. And I think
I love Kobe White.
I do too.
Fan.
I think he's the presumed starting point guard on this team. And it was like, we don't need him to be LaMelo, just be Kobe. Which really what it means is everyone's going to have to step up their playmaking stuff.
Right.
Like you're going to lose a lot, not just with the passing, but his dribble drive. Like he had gotten really so much better at driving and kicking and driving enough to force the defense to actually react as opposed to just immediately doing it off of repetition. And he got better at finishing around the rim. Those things, who's that going to be? And it's got to, everyone's going to be looking at Brandon Miller, right? Like he seems like, and I know Con Knipple had a fantastic rookie season. I think even just duplicating that would be fine by me. Like,
oh my God.
You know what I mean? Like, especially because now you're going to have to go eat what you kill a lot more because you don't have you're not going to get that ball right in your shooting pocket wide open anymore.
He's going to be the creator, isn't he?
I think it really does have to be everybody. I think it takes all of us, right? Like, I think
Are you saying it takes a village?
It takes a village. It's
fine.
really going to take a whole village in order to kind of make up for that stuff. Those guys are scorers, flat out, no denying it. But now you're going to have to go eat what you kill a lot more as opposed to getting served on you with a plate in front of you on the table. You feel me? So, like, that is going to be their biggest thing, but they have the depth of talent to be good this year.
All right.
Or to be better than they were last year.
I guess final question, I'll let you go. Knicks won the title. LeBron's in Philly.
Yeah.
Handicap that part of the East for me, the top of the East. Is it Boston is good? Has no Jaylen Brown. They have, a fully healthy, operational Jason Tatum. Cleveland's got what they've got. They signed the Harden contract. Actually, wasn't nearly as bad as I thought it would be. Good for Cleveland. I don't know. Bad for Cleveland. You can't win anything with James Harden. Find the lie.
He's done a little bit of winning.
He's a Hall of Fame player.
I think I've turned into a Harden defender just because I'm like, I feel like he's defined by what he isn't as opposed to what he is so frequently. I think that's just a tough road for him. But it's fair. The criticism is fair.
With other players, different players around him, I could see Cleveland winning.
Yeah,
right?
I don't think. Yeah, this feels like a weirdly top heavy part of it. Like those two together as a long-term solution is I I like both of them. Donovan Mitchell's cool.
Individually.
Yeah. Individually, they're cool. I like bacon and I like ice cream. I don't have to have them both at the same time.
I appreciate you saying that.
Yeah.
All right, so East me.
I mean, Philly looks really good on paper, right? Like their biggest thing is going to be health, which is not surprising.
And can they defend?
But I mean, I think they'll be fine. Like I think they'll be fine with the defense part. It really is about how many games are you guys penciling in for LeBron to play?
Or Joel.
And that's the other part. Like, I think they can still get through the regular season and be fine without Embiid. I don't think they can win a title without him. You know
agreed.
what I mean?
They just need him healthy in April and May.
I'm interested to see Miami. I think they're going to be beasts defensively. I got real questions about what that offense is going to look like. Tyler Hero was their bucket getter.
Right.
And so whatever flaws he's had defensively, offensively.
What is Clay?
He shot 37% on 8 threes a game last year. Those are good numbers. And maybe they're not Klay Thompson numbers, but they're like, those are good numbers, particularly for an offense that's going to get real still in that half court occasionally. Because Bam, Nora, Giannis shoot the ball particularly well from far away. Right? Bam is better and he's taking more threes, but like that's still not what his game is.
Maybe they can sign Asia.
I mean, she's actually started to develop a three. Like, that's the crazy part. Like, her game continuously gets better. That's the next part. But like, man, New York, it was just such a great run. I wonder if I feel like they're going to run it back because I don't. Like, if you were to ask me,
I didn't
like,
think
honestly,
they were going to win the title last year.
Exactly, I didn't think they were going to win last year. So
they were
like,
frauds.
I didn't think they were frauds. I just thought that they were good, and I just thought it was going to be one of those good Knicks teams that we talk about. Hey, you remember back then? Yeah, they were kind of good. I did not think they were going to be a championship winning squad, but they proved me wrong.
I thought they would get to the maybe the conference final. Lose. But.
That was about
It just fell right for them.
It did. I mean, like
Philadelphia in the second round after Philly beat Boston, right?
That Anunoby tip in. Just I mean, like, you know what I mean? You come back from a gazillion points. That's when I felt like, all right, that's it. All right, this is supposed to happen. All right, this is one of those things that's supposed to happen, and we're all just getting a chance to see it. And it was cool, man. It's cool to see New York turn up like that. Like, I give my New York friends a hard time because why not? Y'all deserve it. But like, it was nice to see all the Knicks joy just erupt and stuff.
Are we done with Spike now?
What you mean? We done with Spike? Now that championship.
I like everything about Spike except the Knicks fandom.
No, what's wrong with the Knicks? Oh, too much?
Yeah, it's too much, too over the top. Too over the top.
Imagine
but I love everything else about Spike.
A Morehouse man being too much, I guess.
Oh man, Brenden Whitted. Thanks for coming in, man.
Absolutely. No
All
problem.
right, we'll break. We have a rewind next.
Because your fantasy football team needs all the help it can get, the Adam Gold Show on the North Carolina Sports Network.
Turning 65 soon, navigating Medicare can be overwhelming and confusing, but you're not alone. The NC Department of Insurance SHIP program can help. SHIP counselors can help you understand Medicare benefits to make your best choices. Visit ncship.com or call toll-free at 855-408-1212. SHIP provides free, unbiased help in all 100 counties.
Project supported by grants from the Administration for Community Living. Contents do not necessarily represent official views of, nor an endorsement by ACL, HHS, or the U.S. government.
Your child's doctor shares your goals, a healthy future for your child. Doctors recommend vaccines throughout childhood because they protect what matters most, your child's future from preventable disease and serious illness. Discuss any questions you have and check that your child is up to date and talk about any concerns. You're right to have questions. Get real answers. Start a conversation with your doctor today. Visit vaccinesforkids.nc.gov. Paid for by NCDHHS.
At concerts, we dance to the same tune. At games, we hug total strangers. At marathons, we hand water to people we'll never see again. We pull over to help. We stop for someone who's fallen. We give. We step up. We show up. And yet, in these moments, there's also something we don't do. We don't act based on how they look, who they love, where they're from, or what they believe. We just act. Because the things that make us different will never change. what makes us human. Go to lovehasnolabels.com to learn more. Brought to you by Love Has No Labels and the Ad Council.
Gear up this fall with the new All-Pro battery by Steel. Tackle any task with 60% more peak power. And a fast charge time of just 10 minutes means it's ready when you are. The All-Pro battery is just the upgrade your shed has been waiting for. Outperform the outdoors with battery tools by Steel. Exclusively available only at your local Steel dealer. 60% peak power. Comparison between AP300PC and AP300S. 10-minute charge time to reach 80% with AL1602MO.
If you want the nation's best auto insurer, look no further than North Carolina Farm Bureau Insurance. Rated #1 in Crash Network's Insurer Report Card 7 years in a row, we're the only insurer in the nation to receive an A+ rating from auto body shops. Our philosophy is simple: be fair, be quick, be the best. North Carolina Farm Bureau Insurance. Helping you is what we do best.
Did you know? Atlantic hurricane season runs through November. From gathering necessary supplies to planning an evacuation route, now is the time to make sure you and your family are prepared. And if a storm damages our electric system, local public power providers are ready to respond and restore power quickly and safely. As a public power customer, you benefit from having an electricity provider that restores power faster than other providers do. Visit electricities.com for storm preparation tips and resources.
At the North Carolina Agro-Medicine Institute, we know a safe farm is a profitable one, and we're teaming up with your local NC Cooperative Extension agent to offer the Certified Safe Farm program. It's a non-regulatory safety review with an on-farm walkthrough, health checks, and more. For a limited time, the NC Tobacco Trust Fund Commission is sponsoring up to $1,000 in cost share for participating farms to make safety improvements. Real help to protect you, your workers, and your farm. See more at ncagromedicine.org.
This is Adam Gold.
The American Cornhole League. I don't know if you can wager on it. I mean, just go to FanDuel and find out if you can wager on it.
I think I read you can get a scholarship. Kids in high school can actually get scholarships for cornholing. Who knows? I don't know what the technical term
I'm just not going to say anything.
The Adam Gold Show.
I don't know if you know this, but Dolly Parton passed away. I know.
Oh my gosh.
Our boss had to come in and he let me know, and I was like, you've got to be kidding. At 80, she passed away. They just announced it like 40, 45 minutes, maybe an hour ago.
Oh, man.
Yeah.
No, like, no joke. That is awful news. I don't even know what to do now. I'm going to listen to Jolene on my way home.
Yes.
Believe, I don't know why Miley Cyrus.
Yes.
I believe is her niece.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. Or no, goddaughter, I think.
Goddaughter?
Yes.
Okay, maybe that's it. Her version of Jolene is awesome.
Oh man, she's got such a voice. Yeah, but nobody can beat Dolly's.
I can't talk about Oreo chicken burgers now. So no, seriously,
we don't need to talk about that.
R.I.P.
Yeah.
Dolly Parton. That was a heck of a movie, by the way.
Oh yeah, yeah.
She's very good. The height of Dabney Coleman as the boss. All right, so I mentioned it. So let me just follow through on the mention here. Something KFC is releasing an Oreo chicken burger. Now it's going to be in China.
Thank goodness.
Exactly. That's exactly what I was going to say. So it is a cookie style bun. I don't know if the bun tastes like Oreos or not. Yeah. Let's just say that it's a regular bun, but it is dark.
Okay.
Okay. Mashed potatoes covered in crushed Oreo pieces. Stop.
Okay. Why?
A fried chicken fillet, and I don't know what the sauce is. I can only assume the cream filling.
Yikes.
And it launches in China on Friday.
This feels like something I would say during the 7th inning stretch, like one crazy little concoction.
I really assumed you were going to bring it up. I'm sure you saw it.
Wow.
I wasn't sure if you saw it or not.
No, that's crazy and wrong. Like, don't do that to KFC. Like, what do we?
They're just trying to stay relevant.
See,
Would you at least try one?
Okay,
I wouldn't.
I would try it, but I already know it would be gross and disgusting, and I wouldn't like it. But here's the thing, like have you had the Krispy Kreme donut sandwich? What do they put in between it? It's like Krispy Kreme sandwiches that I think you could get chicken in between it potentially.
Yeah, I wouldn't do it.
I feel like people have been okay with that. Maybe just a burger, but yeah, no. Oreos? I don't need chocolate and chicken together. Why would we do this?
I'm with you. But we eat a lot of crazy stuff.
Yeah.
I would not eat that.
No.
All right, let's rewind. All right, Will Brinson and I are going to talk about the Carolina Panthers here. Go back to preseason game number 3. It was the second one for Bryce Young and company. Failed opening drive, but thanks to the offensive line being intact, meaning Robert Hunt and Damian Lewis were in the lineup, they got on the same page.
Yeah, I mean, I think, for the Panthers, and I mean, this is true for like a lot of teams, but I think really for the Panthers this year, they are going to go as far as like their success is going to be like highly determinant on how healthy the starting offensive line can be.
Yep.
Right. And again, that applies to a lot of NFL teams. If your offensive line is devastated with injuries, you're probably not going to be very good. And just the nature of, how we kind of, like a, sort of a 30,000-foot view, we like to focus on quarterbacks. We like to focus on receivers, running backs, fantasy football, all that. I mean, those guys matter. Quarterback matters more than anything, any position in any sport, to like a massive degree. But quarterback play is dependent on other things too, and the number one thing that quarterback play is dependent on is offensive line. And I think with Bryce Young, you're talking about a quarterback who is in this group of guys, and it's a large group of guys in the NFL, quarterbacks, who are like there are a couple guys, like a Josh Allen and Patrick Mahomes, and they can't overcome, like the worst offensive line in football, but they can overcome, issues on the offensive line. Somebody like Bryce Young, and this is a large range. You can run the gamut, whether it's like a Kirk Cousins type of player, Jared Goff, Bryce Young, et cetera, where if the offensive line isn't healthy and isn't performing at a high level, isn't protecting him, things can really go south with the offense. And I think, you kind of saw a stark example of that from, 2 weeks ago against Buffalo, and then, against Jacksonville this past week, where when those guys are out there, all of a sudden the offense can click because you have that. That's just going to be the determining factor for the Panthers in 2026, in my opinion.
Yeah, and for the short Will Brinson is joining us here, and I think for Bryce Young, it's even more important that the center of his offensive line does not get caved in. I think you could always, I shouldn't say always, you can mitigate, weaknesses at tackle positions by providing assistance.
Shipping.
Tight end on the tight end on that side, quicker passes. But man, if the center of your offensive line, which is really what happened in preseason game number 2, when they went, I'll give them credit for the first down that they picked up that was called back due to penalty, but they only ran 10 offensive plays in 3 series. And the reason for that was because no Robert Hunt, no Damian Lewis. They were just completely caved in. Center position is still kind of a mess, but we'll see how they mitigate that. But you can't work without your 2 starting guards. I think their depth.
Well, you can go back to like Tom Brady. Like in the big games that Tom Brady lost, it's because he got pressured up the middle.
Yeah.
More likely than not. And I mean, it's like Peyton Manning, and you're going to any great NFL quarterback. And if you get pressure up the middle, it is going to, it forces you off your spot. So you can't sit there and run an offense in the style that you want to run it. And then the other thing is like pressure up the middle versus pressure on the edge. Pressure on the edge, you can also mitigate that by getting the ball out quickly. You can't get the ball out quickly when the interior of your offensive line is getting destroyed and you're forced to move off your spot. So it's like it really is like imperative. And for the Panthers too, this is a Dave Canales offense. They are going to want to run the ball a lot. That is what they're going to do. They're going to be a running team first and foremost. And you have to be able to run. You have to be able to maintain your blocks on the interior to be able to get those runs going. So it's like, yeah, I mean, this is kind of where the season is going to swing for Carolina.
Let me ask you one more thing about the Panthers. I'm going to talk a lot more extensively about this later, but just one more thing. Darren Waller was brought in really to be an impact pass-catching tight end, but by the time they settled everything, he was not part of the preseason game against Jacksonville. He was not part of the joint practices. He'll be, I'm guessing, tomorrow, part of the joint practice against Houston, but he's not going to play in the game on Friday. And what options do the Panthers have? Let's say he's not that effective. I guess they could certainly release him, but if he's not that effective because he's not ready, because he hasn't played a lot of football,
right?
Do they have roster moves they can make? Can they waive him because he doesn't have to clear waivers and just put him on their practice squad?
Good question. I don't know that they can move him to the practice squad. I would assume that he is either going to be on the active roster. The thing with like a veteran like Waller, and he's retired.
Right.
He's like, yeah, like I would think that he's either on the active roster or he's. Maybe they could do something like a PUP or IR if he's not ready to go. But I would think he's either on the active roster or they just end up cutting him outright, would be my guess.
Or do they put
it like he's not ready to go?
If they IR him, and I guess my guess is that they're going to do that with Haynes King and basically maybe IR him for the entire season and basically just stash him because he's got that hamstring issue. But I don't know. If he's not ready to go during the season, at the start of the season, like it would make more sense to keep around JT Sanders. But if he's ready to go,
right,
the way Dave Canales has talked about Felipe Franks as a special teams player, then they're going to keep Felipe Franks. They're going to keep Tremble and Mitch Evans. So, because they're blockers, and JT Sanders is certainly not, nor is Darren Waller. And I don't think Felipe Franks is much of a blocker either. Then it would make more sense to keep around JT Sanders as a pass-catching element. I don't know what the deal. Maybe they won't. Maybe they'll just go. Waller, might not be active in week one. I'm not 100% sure on the practice squad eligibility for him, but you really don't ever hear about somebody coming out of retirement to then be on the practice squad. You know what I mean? True. It's a good point. It's a good point.
I think that Waller would probably be like, nah, I'm good. I'm going to go back to being retired if I'm not getting that game check.
Will Brinson, senior NFL writer, CBSSports.com. Just to go back to the very beginning, the center of their offensive line is as key as any element on this team. All right, tomorrow on the show, Manny Diaz will join us at 1 o'clock. It's a Chip Patterson Day, plus Stanley Cup champion Jordan Martinook. I am excited to talk to Marty about his summer. Anyway, Victoria, thank you very much. R.I.P. Dolly Parton. Pour one out. See you.